is to cover a couple of advanced topics. These are the topics normally Java programmers should know, but I have seen the homework. Some of you done amazing homework. I said, wow, this is awesome, right? So I have seen the homework and I really feel like you are understanding. You should deserve the more challenge. So that's why I'm going for the little advanced topic. So if you remember last week when we started, our topic was very clear. Last week when we started, our topic was very clear. We started with the UML. If you remember, we started with UML. And in UML, we talk about either parent-child, right? Parent versus child relationship. And then we talk about hazard. And we talk about two aspects, hazard, diamond, right? So when we talk about diamond, there is a two diamond. If it is empty, we call aggregation, right? And if it is filled diamond, we call composition, right? We spend enough time, right? Composition means strong relationship. Then I started talking about interface, which we talk in great detail, and abstract class, but we did not have any exercise done. So this is what we're going to cover tonight. Interface and abstract class, abstract class. Then we're going to cover about Enum. This is also very popular questions in your interview. This will take some of my time, maybe 1 hour to go over that, and you will do that. Make sure you are logged in to our forum and make sure you have NetBean open so you can save some time. Goal of the exercise is you type less, understand more. Most Java object-oriented programming is actually easy if you understand. If you don't understand, you will unnecessarily hitting your head to the wall because it's just so simple, but sometimes simple things become harder. So understanding is very important. I will spend time to educate you how it works. You have to visualize it and then start applying for your project. Interface and abstract class, you understand now you are at a higher level of Java programming. Most people know how to create a class. Most people know how to create a parent-child relationship. Most people know how aggregation works or composition works. But when it comes for interface and abstract class or enums, these are going for a little higher advanced programming. So we're going to cover that thing. Then, if time, most likely time will permit, but after break, I would say we will be covering TestNG. The reason we want to cover TestNG because I want when you do project, for project, I want some of you do validation of your own code, which is called unit testing. So we'll talk about unit testing. And part of the unit testing, I want to cover code coverage. These are very, very important topic. I would say personally think most people in a real training, they don't even know about it. You're going to have experience which you can apply for your project also. Now, code coverage and all, there are so many interesting moving parts are there. So we will use Maven and we will use Maven plugin. Again, this if you do in real life, it takes 40-50 hours to do all those things which I'm going to cover. And we will be covering less than 3 hours. Good news, I already have worked hard. And I know some of you are working very, very hard. And I really respect that. These topics are very often asked in interview. Most people memorize it. So when they first question they might answer because if they memorize it, but when they ask second question, most times students do not answer that. So I want to make sure you understand by doing it and then you apply it for your project. While I'm doing that, I will also do the project related exercise, which is menu, how to create menu, and I'm going to use array list and kind of show you how to do the little bit work about dynamically I would create objects. So I'll show you that part and then we'll end tonight. Project is due. When project is due? Next week. So you need to work really, really hard. Again, you already have done a good job in homework. I have seen that, and many of you already started working on a project. So if you have any question while I'm doing that, stop me. I want to make sure you understand the concept. So far, so good. People on phone, give me thumbs up if you're with me. Yeah. So now let me start drawing a concept. Last week we talked about that interface. Let me go through draw.io. Maybe that will be easy because you will visualize that, right? So I'm going to draw.io. You don't have to do anything. Relax. You don't have to do anything right now. Just spend time in understanding. So I'll create a new diagram, select the UML, and I'm going to select the class diagram. So this is the class diagram. You don't have to do anything. Just, and I'll create, let's say, example here. Let's say shape. I'll give you a name, shape. Now, as always, draw gives you by default a class diagram. I'm not interested in. So I'm going to create my own diagram by clicking on plus sign. Now I click on plus sign. Now the first exercise I'm going to do is interface. So what is interface, how it works? I want you to relax and enjoy. When we do the lab, you will do lab along with me. Right now, I'm just explaining the concept. If you're not clear with the concept, stop me, ask questions, because concepts are beautiful. Once you understand lifetime, you don't have to memorize it. It's become your second nature. The most fundamental mistake students do, they don't spend 30 minutes understanding concept and they spend 3 days solving problem. If you understand concept, most problem can be solved in less than 10 minutes. I can tell you. Programming is not hard. It's the approach you take. I always tell people, before you do the programming, think and create a mental model, how it will work, okay? So for that, if I scroll down, last week we talked about, there are many classes we have. So I'll go to UML, and from UML, let me expand that. And there should be a one class called interface. So I'm going to select this is the interface. So I'm going to select the interface. Now, the way it works here, this interface is only talk about what? It does not talk about how. Remember this part. So what does it mean? So here you write method name. You write method name. That's it. And you do semicolon. You don't write any logic. So method name and semicolon. So you need to think about what you need. That's it. So example, if I have a shape that I'm writing a double clicking and changing the class name shape, please relax. If I say shape, right? And then I say I need a, for this shape, I need a method called get area. And I'll do semicolon. That's it. So by default, if you remember when we did a function or procedure or method, there are two sections, if you remember, header and body. Remember we used to do get MPG, get average, get mean, where we write first header, the name, input parameter, and the return logics we write. Interface does not write logic. They only write header, and this is the header. Get area, how get area is done, interface doesn't care. So interface focus on what, not how. Are we clear? Give me thumbs up so far. In interface, you will have abstract methods. Speak with me. Abstract method. Abstract method means don't know how it works. You just write the name. Get area. Make sense? Now you are making this available to the child class, or you are making it available to your clients. Hey, do you want this interface? This is the contract. If you want to implement it, you do need to implement my method. So now the class, I'm using a class here. This class is, let's say, rectangle. So if rectangle wants to implement, we need to use search called realizations. Realization. So if I want to implement, what I'm going to do, I will do this way. It means rectangle say you have what, I'm going to give you how. This concept, dotted line concept is called realizations. It means I'm implementing your interface. So this can be plug and play. Interface allow plug and play. Remember last week we talked about USB allows mouse, keyboard, scanner, printer, and camera. Plug and play. Why? Because you are implementing it. Whatever interface say what, you're implementing how. How many methods you have? one method. So no matter rectangle does, rectangle must have get area, but they will not do semicolon. They have to have both things. They will have a first get area as a method heading or header, get area, right? And then they will have a logic also. Why? Because if interface has an abstract method means no logic, abstract. So if it is an abstract method, there is no logic, then this guy has to have logic here. And that is called realizations. So tomorrow, let's say I add a method called get perimeter. Then this guy has to add get perimeter. Because if they don't, then they are not implementing it. You cannot do plug and play. Makes sense or not? So let's say example, if I have another class, just an example, let's say here I use circle. And in circle say, I want to also implement. Circle say, I want to implement. Then there is no other choice. Circle also need to implement get area. Make sense? If they don't implement, then this is the question in interview. Listen carefully. Listen, I'm speaking in a simple English. By default, interface talk about what? And class, which is realizing this, should have how. When you say what, that's called abstract method. Abstract. What is abstract means? You don't know how it works, but it is there. Sometime you might have seen picture. When you go abstract picture, and everyone think about the picture and they interpret differently. Do you agree or not? Because that's abstract picture. So same thing, get area implemented by rectangle completely differently. And the same thing, get area can be implemented by circle completely differently. Make sense? But they have to have get area. So an interview question, listen carefully. If I have interface, which is in this case, interface name is shape, and there is abstract method, get area. Can I have logic there? Yes or no? Just say no. Interface will never have logic. Are we clear?
Yes.
If you add a logic, then that's not interface. Because interface should not implement the logic. It just says what they need. Logic will go to the child class, which is realizing that. Now, question number 2. These are very high-end question, okay? 90% students do not know. The second question, listen carefully. If I have interface, name is shape, and the method is get area. If class implement, no problem. So if this class implement means they write how, no problem. Can the class implement and not, they realize it, but not implement? Is it possible?
No.
They realize and not implement?
No.
Answer is yes.
Yes? Oh.
Yeah, very complex. Listen carefully.
Mm-hmm.
If you implement, then it's called proper realization.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't implement, then these class will become abstract class because he is not implementing. So he's assuming there will be another class will be implementing that. Make sense? So listen carefully what I'm saying. If class does not implement the abstract method, if class does not implement the abstract method, then class will become abstract class. Make sense? But that child class may be implementing. Someone needs to implement. Make sense or no? So here, this guy is implementing, so this is done. But if this guy is not implementing, then child might be implementing. In that case, this is abstract, and these guys have a logic. Make sense? So it is possible you can realize, but you don't have to implement. Why would you do that? There might be a specific need that you want to have further classifications. So far, so good. Now, if in this case, if I do get area, then do you agree that both are implementing? In that situation, if I write abstract, would that be appropriate or incorrect? Incorrect. Why? Because this guy has a logic. When you have logic, you're not abstract because you're giving clear detail about this method. if you want to make this class abstract, rule number one, listen carefully. If you want to make class abstract, rule number one, you should have a method, one method, at least one method, which should be abstract with semicolon. So if you don't implement, it automatically become abstract. Because you have method, you don't implement, you become abstract. But let's say you implement this method here, but you write another method called get perimeter semicolon. Then that becomes abstract. In that case, class becomes abstract. These are interview questions. I just want to make sure you understand. Questions so far. So far, so good. Question number 3. This is very important question, very tough question. Listen carefully. If I have interface, listen carefully. Interface 1. And I have interface 2. And I have a class. Can class realize both of them? Here, this is the class. This is the interface. This is realization. Right now, rectangle is realizing area. Sorry, shape. Right? This is only one. Can this class realize both interface? Yes or no?
Yes.
Answer is yes. Class, listen carefully. This is very important topic. Class, listen. Class can realize multiple interface. So this become a parent, this become a child. But if I have a class, listen carefully. I have another class, and I have a class. Can one class can have multiple parent? Can I use this? Is it possible? So class cannot have multiple parent, but class can have multiple interface. Make sense?
Yes.
These questions often asked in interview, and I can give you guarantee 100% incorrect answer. All people give. So Java say that, listen carefully. This is just understanding. You don't have to do coding right now. Java says that one class can have only and only one parent class. But one Java class can have many interface, means you can implement many interface. Make sense? Can interface implement another interface? Answer is yes. Make sense? Can interface implement many other interface? Answer is yes. Make sense? Can class implement many interface? Answer is yes. But class cannot have multiple parent. So when you write a either, remember either relationship? Either relationship only point to one parent. It cannot have two parents. Here, this is called realization. So realization possible with multiple parent, but either is not possible. This is inheritance. Inheritance is not possible with multiple parents. Very popular questions, often asked. Many people don't even know the difference here. Questions so far. So far, so good. So what I want you to do right now, we're going to do exercise. So you understand how it works. We are going to create interface through our forum. We have a forum. We will create interface, and then we'll create what with a semicolon. So you will see abstract method, and then you will see realizations with implement word. Realizations with implement word. When you say dotted line, it's a realizations. This is the class. This class implement this interface. Whatever method you have, this class should have that method. This class will have different logic, and this class will have different logic. And then I'll create another class to call this thing just to show how to use it, right? So you can see end-to-end picture. This is very popular and you will be using often. Last week we talked about why we do interface, plug and play. I gave example last week, payment, debit card, credit card, Visa card, right? A different card you can use. And that's why people use when 2D similar system. 2D similar system wants to talk to each other. It is popular that you use interface. Whenever somebody say web service, whenever somebody say web service, they are talking about interface. Service is nothing but interface, and that interface you expose. So other people can use it where they become a client, they implement it, and this will give a contract. So no matter, everyone knows that when you talk to area, any area will be plug and play. Make sense? Because everyone will have area. How they do it doesn't matter. In case of like a shape, let's say I create another class called lock as an interface. So in the log, let's say I say open and close. So then I have class called digital log. So if I have class digital log, and then there are two abstract methods, open and close. So digital log, how many method digital log will implement? 2. So if interface has a 2 methods, then child class digital log has to have 2 methods. Let's say I create another class called key log. How many methods this class will implement? 2. If I say num log, how many? 2. So this class can be pluggable. Make sense? When you are using Selenium, everything Selenium is interface. So when you say web driver, it's interface. You can plug it Chrome driver, you can plug it Edge driver, you can plug it Opera driver, you can plug it Firefox, and that's the reason Selenium is a cross browser. So when you write a one program, it works for all browsers because you are not writing program for class, you're writing program for interface. And as long as you're using interface, everything is pluggable. Make sense? So the first exercise we're going to do with that. So for that, make sure you start the NetBeans. So if you have NetBeans, please start. Hope my NetBeans will start. And those who are already in the forum, then great. If you are not in a forum, please go to our Infotech forum and go to quality assurance, which we did last week, and try to go to Java object-oriented programming. This one, Java object-oriented programming. So go there, and from there we are here. Let me know once you are here. Give me thumbs up and make sure you have Java NetBeans is open. Pranav, any question? That's good. Thank you. Make sure everyone has access to this forum. This forum is awesome because it has almost everything in order to complete your project. It has everything with the labs and homework guidance and all. Some videos I added, so please do go through that. Again, I give you all necessary resources so you can do certain things by yourself, right? If you have not yet done, then I would say too bad. You must access this kind of thing. And if you are not using these resources, then you are unnecessarily wasting your time because you have to look through a lot of things in order to find the solution versus in one step. If you just go through this 4-5 times, everything will be very clear. Now from there, scroll down all the way where you will come to know a class called shape interface. Sorry. So keep going down, you will see an interface called shape. And here you go. So if you see here, interface is in Java. Now we talk about interface means all abstract method. So you can see here, one interface can be vehicle, but implementation can be car, plane, boat. And this concept is called polymorphism. Polymorphism means one interface, many implementation. In interface, you only have what. In a class, you have how. But in abstract class, you will have combination of what and you will have combination of how. Means some methods will be implemented and some method will have just semicolon, no implementation. So in abstract class, you will have what and how. But in interface, you will have only what, and only what. You will not have a logic at all. Remember that. In abstract class, you will have logic. Now, abstract class is nothing but parent-child relationship only, but interface, you have polymer feature. Means one class can have many interfaces. So that's the difference. Okay. Scroll down and you can scroll down and you will see shape. This is where you need to be. So if you are not there, just find out and we'll do the exercise together. Okay. Now let's go to NetBeans. I'm hoping you know how to go here and it should not be difficult part, right? Let's go to NetBeans and let's start. So we'll say file, new project. My NetBeans is old, yours is new. Select Maven, Java applications, and select my interface. My interface. Give a name. I already have it, so I'm going to give interface 1. So give a name to the project, my interface 1. Relax and enjoy. Make sure give a project meaningful name so when you are going to refer later on, it will be easier for you. Now, let's do finish. As always, when you start your project, you will have structure. And we talk about many times that everything in Java right now we are using is Maven project, and Maven project has this file is very important. Tonight, I'm going to explain this thing. I added video in your agenda in case if you have not watched. Remember, before the class, you should start watching. During the class, you learn, and after the class, you should watch. If you are not using proper sequence, then you will have chemistry problem. Chemistry problem means you are not able to solve this ecosystem. So the reason I sent this agenda with the video, so you can 5 minutes, you will be well prepared. That 5 minutes make a big difference. And then after class, you should also watch. So now whatever I said, everything will make sense. Those videos are created very nicely. 10 minute, 20 minutes video, which will give you decent knowledge. And then you do homework, right? Make sure you watch that. So right now, everything looks good. So we want to start step by step. So you can see here, I have package here, and I have palm.xml. We are not changing anything in palm.xml. Maven project always have palm.xml, which will help us for building the project. Now, I want to create interface and implementation here. Now, make sure names are correctly used. So here, the interface name is shape, right? So we're going to use S capital, or you can copy this, just shape like that. So you don't have to type. So you just copy the name, make sure first letter is always capital. Now go to your Maven, right click, new, and don't create Java class. That should be your option Java interface. Do you guys see that? If you don't see, then you have to find that. It will be in other, but Java interface. Remember one thing. We are creating, this is the first time we are creating new, and then we are going Java interface. Make sense? Relax, there is nothing hard in that new Java interface. It will ask me what class, I'll say shape. I paste it because I don't want to create a naming conflict. So I just paste it, and now I'm finishing. As I have noticed that it will write interface. So far we were seeing class here. This is interface. Now go back to our forum and just copy this method. Line, copy that line. You can see I highlighted and I did Control C. Highlight this line and then Control C. Control C means copy. And here you do Control V. So when you do Control V, you can notice that this method is not implemented. There's immediately semicolon. So heading is there, but there is no body. Instead, there's a semicolon. It means this method is abstract method. And this is a interface. Abstract method is known as a what. It does not have a how. So far, so good. Any questions so far? Right. Now save this thing. So your interface is ready. Little smile. Make sure if you're doing little smile. I see the scary faces. I'm hurt. It's kind of scaring me as well. We have just started one line and people are a little scared. So little smile. You're doing things right. Shouldn't be like that. Be like panicking. Relax. Just one line, right? What else you should expect, right? Copy paste should not be that complex, right? So relax, right? So interface is created. Now I want to create two classes. So if you scroll down, I want to create a rectangle class. Just copy this thing. Double click on rectangle so you can copy the spelling. So I'm going to rectangle. So I'm going to copy rectangle only, not entire class. Please relax. Only this spelling, right? So we'll do one at a time so you will understand the power of interface. Again, it looks easy when you do the exercise, right? Now, right click on a package, make sure you're selecting package, right click on it, always see on the screen and follow the flow. Now, this time we'll say new class because we are implementing it, right? So Java class, and then paste your class name. In this case, class name is rectangle. Remember, we are not typing. The reason we are not typing because if you make a mistakes, right? If your naming conventions are not correct, then you will have error and you may not like it. And that's the reason I'm avoiding. And I'm showing how I'm doing from my forum. So tomorrow, if you watch recording, you should be able to do it, right? Because I want your first exercise should work. When first exercise work, you can use this concept for your project. And that's why it's important. Now finish. So you can see that class is empty. Now this class has no relations with shape. So at this moment, I have a rectangle class, but I don't have dotted line. And dotted line to shape, I don't have it. So how do I do the dotted line? So this dotted line means implement. And what we are implementing is shape. So let's try to write ourselves. So give a space and write implements, and then write as capital shape like that. It's going to cry. It's going to cry. And that's perfect. That's right. So you write implements and then shape. This is your interface. If you are not write correctly, then you will have error. That's the reason I'm doing copy paste. You can see in my case, you can right away see I have a shape interface. I'm using that interface and I'm using word implement. So that means rectangle class, which I'm writing right now, is implementing shape. So far so good. Why it is crying? Because it's a, hey, look at that. You are implementing interface. Interface has a what? Get area. You don't have it. So you have two choice. Either you make this class abstract. So if I make this class abstract, error will disappear. Don't do it, just see here. So if I write abstract, problem solved. It means now whoever is going to create a child class of rectangle, they have to implement it. But today my goal is to implement it. So I'm removing abstract. So I have only one choice. I have to implement. So Java says I know how to implement because Java knows this is interface. So Java knows there is a one method. So Java said, do you want to implement it? So you just click it and it gives you option implement all abstract method. You click it and say implement all abstract method. As soon as you do that, it will write it for you. Make sense? It knows the method name. So it puts that. Yes or no? Now, Java says that you did not write logic, so Java write exception here, which is runtime exception, because you have not implemented. Highlight that line and just delete it. And create some space. So you can see here we have same name, which we have here. So now we are implementing that line, we highlight and deleted that because we want to write a logic. Yes or no? Yes or no? Now, this method has to be exactly matching as shape, exactly matching. If I make area 1 here, just an example, it's going to cry. Why? Because rectangles say, wait a minute, you are saying area, over there it's area 1, it's going to cry. So what I'm trying to say that it has to match. So I'm going to do area and rectangle is happy. But how can I calculate area without length and width? Yes or no? I need a length and width. Do you guys agree or not? A rectangle require length and width. If I have length and width, then I can calculate area, and area formula is very simple. Length times width, right? So I need to have those attributes. Now, this attribute belongs to rectangle only, it has nothing to do with shape, because shape itself is abstract. When I say shape, what thing comes in your mind? Not clear. It can be circle, it can be triangle, it can be rectangle, it can be square, yes or no? Because shape is not clear. But when I say rectangle, everything will be clear. Do you agree or not? So rectangle is a concrete class. Concrete means clarity is there. But shape is abstract interface. You have no idea. So here we are going to write attributes. So let's write down private int length, length length, and private int width. Right? Remember, the reason we are saying private, no one should be able to access from outside, right? Remember, it's a length, L-E-N-T-H. It's not one, it's L, length, and width. Whenever you do that, you have to use, remember, setter, getter, right? Constructor, and we talk about custom constructor last week. Many of you remember that. And then we talk about toString. I'm going to do all three things. We talk about four things, right? Setter and getter, custom constructor, and toString, right? So let's do that. Again, order doesn't matter which order you do, but try to do as fast as you can. As fast as you can. So right click, remember, right click, insert code, getter and setter. Getter and setter. Check it out on screen, because if you have not done homework, you will be wondering what to do because you don't know. But if you have done homework, it should be extremely simple because you have done quite a lot, right? Getter and setter. So power of homework will be visible right away. Insert code, getter and setter, check, check, check. Make sense? You're done. So getter and setter is done. Now right click, insert code, and I want to do custom constructor. So constructor, check, check, check. And when I do that, it creates a custom constructor. So whenever constructor has input, that's become a custom constructor. Make sense? Are we understanding? Good. And then right click, insert code, and do toString. Check, check, check. And we are done with our boilerplate, setter and getter. So remember, we are only defined two attributes. After attribute, we did getter and setter. We define custom constructor, and then we define toString. Pretty easy. Make sense or no? This is like a lightning fast. You should be able to do that. And the reason you are able to do, because we have done many, many times. Right? So be proud what you do and make sure you also learn. This is like we did almost 25 times. So it shouldn't be busy or difficult task. This is like we have done many times, right? And remember, we are just doing insert code and selecting. We're not really doing much thing here. Okay. Now the area part we have not yet implemented. So go inside the area method. Make sure you're inside. And then you can write, hey, now I know that. So we'll say return. Not return because it's a void method, right? It's a, sorry for that. Because it's a void method, I'm going to do all logic here itself. So here I'm going to say private, sorry, yeah, no, my mistake. Int area equal to this dot length, right? This dot length time this dot width, right? So I got an area, and now I'm going to do s out, and I'll say area equals to, and then plus area. Please understand, because I have void, I cannot use return. Remember, we talk about method versus function. So this is the method. Method wants work done here and no return. If I write integer here, then I would calculate the area and I would return area. I would have done that. But in this situation, I'm just doing area. I'll show you perimeter a little differently so you can see that. Make sense or no? Last week we talked about this means current object, and we already have attributes. So we are doing calculations. We got the area, and we are using s out, and we are printing this label, and then we are printing the answer of this variable. Okay. So right now this class is ready. Let's repeat one more time. This is a void, and void means you cannot return. You have to do all the work inside the method itself. Make sense or not? So that's why I have to do the logic here. So I calculate the area and I'm printing here. Normally I return, but because it's a void, my hands are tied. I cannot do that. For a perimeter, we'll do differently so you can see the concept. Now I have everything. I have a shape as an interface, and I have rectangle as an implementer. So I have like this thing ready. Do you guys agree or not? This method allows me as a logic. This dotted line is nothing but implements, which is this line. This line gives me that dotted line to this one. Now, right click on the package, and we'll create a new class, which is called driver class. So we'll say Java class, and we'll say driver. The reason we are using a driver because there we'll have main method, right? Driver and finish. D capital driver and finish. If you don't see main method, maybe you can borrow from other class. So I'm going to borrow from other class. If you don't see main method, and plug it in and press enter. So you can have structure ready. If you already have main method, don't try. That's okay. You can use it. You don't have to have name driver. You can use other name also. As long as your main method, keep that class. You don't have to create a new class. But if you create a new class, you do need to have main method. Good. Now, what we are going to do is how to use it. So our goal is we have a shape. Please understand. Our goal is shape. We have shape. And we want to plug in rectangle, which is doable because rectangle is implementing interface shape. And then I'll show you circle. And circle will do that. And same thing, if you want, you can do triangle. Why? Because once you do the two, then you know how to do others. Make sense? So first of all, what is this shape? What is this rectangle? So the way you write here, you write first interface. So S capital shape. And here I'm going to say shape equals to new rectangle. But rectangle has a custom constructor. So it's going to cry. It's going to cry. Why shape? Because this is the interface. This is the interface, and I'm plugging this class. I'm plugging into that. So it's going to cry. The reason it is crying because it's a custom constructor, no empty constructor. So go inside and put your cursor here. You put your cursor inside the parenthesis. So wherever parenthesis is there, put your cursor here and do control space. Control space. So if you do control space, it gives you hint. Because it's a custom constructor, it will give you a hint that you need a length and width. So you can do control space. It's going to give me control space, and it's going to give me a hint. If you notice carefully, second. Control space, and it's my 1 second. Rectangle spelling is correct.
Rectangle spelling.
Now control space, here you go. So you can see I have length and width. Yes or no? Length and width. So I know now first should be length and second should be width. And I read English. Integer, integer. Can I give spelling here?
No.
If you don't have that common sense, you shouldn't be doing programming. I'll be honest with you. Because programming requires very meticulous thought process. If it is integer, can I give a float here? No. And if I want to give a float, there is a way you can do. You need to go here and change this to float. Do you agree or not? That common sense is not there, then there is no way Google can help. There is no way world can help. So make sure you understand what you are giving, how you are giving. That requires a little bit thinking. Let's say you made a mistake. Come here and change rectangle before you do anything. Oh, it's not working. It's not going to work. The reason it is not going to work because here you are saying I am only going to accept integer. So you should not give a float. Neither you can give spelling there. So I got it. First is the length, right? And second is the width. So I'm going to say, hey, length is let's say 10 and width is 5. So now I created my rectangle and now I'm plugging the rectangle to shape. So shape got that. But shape means what? Shape means interface. But interface has only one method called area. So now you plug it. No one knows that what you plug it. No one knows. Everyone knows that shape has only area. So if I now click here, shape.area, see the magic will happen. You know, I know there is no logic in the shape. Do you guys agree or not? But automatically it will go here. Automatically it will call its area with this length and width. And that's the beautiful part about interface. Because when you're plugging, this interface knows that you plugged in. So what you plugged in? Rectangle. So now when you call area, it will go to area here. It will go to shape. Oh, there is no logic. But then say who plugged in? Rectangle. So now it will call reverse to the rectangle and call rectangle area. So it will go here and say, hey, call this one. There is the area method. Yeah, here. It will call this and it automatically get length and width, get the area. So now we're almost done. Save your program and right click, go to driver and right click and run. Go to driver, save your program, right click on a driver and run it. And you will get the area. You will get the area. Check it out. Even though shape does not have any logic of area, because you plugged in rectangle, shape gets logic from rectangle because you plugged in. Make sense or no? Think about door. Please understand. Think about door. Door has a lock. Lock is the interface. But as long as you plug digital lock, now lock only knows how to open and close. But logic is not there. But digital lock will create open and close. Make sense or no? So whatever you plug in, it will be automatically closed. Whatever you automatically call, whatever you plug in. So right now, what I plugged in? What I plugged in? Rectangle. So when you call area, actually you are calling area of rectangle. Make sense? So now let's say I did this thing and I want to copy it. Please understand, I want to copy it. I highlight and copy and I say now I'm going to plug another rectangle. So let's say this time I'm going to plug rectangle with 20 length and 10 width. So I have another and I'm unprinting it. Check it out. This was one rectangle I plug in. This is second rectangle I'm plugging and I'm calling it. You can see my calling is remain same. Doesn't matter what I'm plugging. You guys agree or not? My calling part remains same. Calling part remains same, but my plugin part is changing. So today you are using Honda engine, tomorrow you are using Nissan engine, doesn't matter. Your car will still work because car cares engine. Which company engine doesn't matter. So if I right click and run, it's gonna run. And that's the beautiful part about interface because it allows plug and play. So you can see now I'm getting both different rectangle. I'm able to plug in and I get the same call and get the result. I plug in another and another result. Any questions so far? Any questions, concerns? People on phone, if you are able to do, give me thumbs up. And if you have a question, please do ask. Because I want to make sure you are able to do this basic step-by-step exercise before we go further.
So you don't have to rewrite capital S like a big interface shape again once you write it on top, right?
This is the variable and this is the interface. So you
Right.
create this variable, that variable is a shape, so you don't have to repeat. And then you keep using that, right? Whatever you define here, you keep using that.
Okay.
Right? So now, today you are doing rectangle. Now your boss say, you know what? Why don't you do circle? Why you want to do circle? Why don't you want to do circle? So first of all, everyone should know how circle look like, right? Circle means this is the circle in case if you have not seen that. And circle has a property which we call radius. Do you guys agree or not? And now circle, how do you calculate the area of circle?
Pi r square.
So it seems like you know math very well.
Yes.
I was expecting more people will speak, but many people say, huh, what did you say? Right? Pi r square, which is very common if you have studied math, right? It's a grade 4 level math, but it's hard because we forgot, right? Pi stands for 3.14. Yes or no? And r is nothing but radius. So 3.14 is nothing but float value. So the area will be float. Do you agree or not? Now, if I do integers, then I will have some problem because my value will be lost. I will not be able to maintain my decimal value. So I will keep everything float. Is that okay? Right? So we're going to do this exercise thing. Remember, these are basic baby steps we are doing. The only reason you're slow down, the only reason you're not able to follow because you're not doing homework. Trust me, you're not climbing the ladder correctly. If you miss a couple of steps, you fall apart, you fall apart, you fall apart. So it's best thing to climb a ladder properly because next week you're going to do Java project and then you are going to do Selenium. If you are having a weakness in your steps, then your weakness you carry forward. If I were you, I would do homework well. Even your 60% homework is much better than 0% homework. Make sense or no? So now I'm going to do circle class. So check it out how we do that. So first thing first, right click on a package, and say new Java class, new Java class. This is supposed to be your second nature now. And here I'm going to see capital C circle like that, circle. Remember, circle, C capital, circle. C capital, circle. Now, if you do that, you will have empty class, which is the circle. Can I count everyone? See that? Remember, it is C capital, circle. But right now, shape is there, but circle is there. There is no realizations. Do you guys agree? So how do I realize? What should I write here?
Implements.
Implements. Very good. And that is the keyword in your Java certifications you may see. Implements and shape as capital. As soon as you do that, it's going to cry. When you cry, you're going to click on the bubble and you're going to say implement abstract method. So it's going to implement your area. Make sense? This is supposed to be your common sense now. In case if you are not having, one more time I'm going to show you, you are going to get error. This is normal. You just click on it and then you implement it. So when you implement, you will get exception. Remove that line in the middle. So that line you remove and you have this setup. If you have this setup, means you're really doing good. So this is circle. Now implement the shape. Now you can see that this is a method we have logic we are going to write here. But before that, I need to know how am I going to get the area. Area of circle comes with radius. So let's define the attributes. So let's write private float radius, right? So we define one variable radius. Now you may ask why radius? Why not length? Why not width? So I'm not going to teach you geometry today because that's not my purpose, but you should know about a little bit. Any object you are doing, you need to have a property. So example, if you're doing book, you're not going to do radius. What are you going to write? Maybe title, maybe author, maybe page, maybe price, maybe size, maybe type. Yes or no? If you're doing car, you're going to do VIN, color, make, model, price. So define according to the object. And those common sense you need to have because your objects are real objects, right? Circle, everyone have seen when they study in the school, right? So those common sense we are bringing here. So in Java, it's all object relation. What you see in real life, you bring in a software. That's the reason Java become a lot easier compared to other programming language because we are doing object oriented. So now I have a radius. Now what should be the next step? What should I be doing now?
Getter and setter.
Always remember that 4 things you always do: getter and setter, custom constructor, and toString. Do as fast as you can. Not even slow, fast, lightning fast, because there's something you know should not take longer. So getter and setter, check, 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 boom, 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 you're done. Shouldn't take longer, right? Right click, insert code, custom constructor. You shouldn't even think about what he's doing. You should know about that. Always you're gonna do that. Always. So right click, insert code, and toString. We need to save some time. So this is the way we save the time. We're done. It's so easy based on NetBeans because you're doing getter and setter, you're doing toStrings, and you're doing custom constructor. You will be often using custom constructors. Be familiar with custom constructor. If you're using, remember we talk about Java gives you empty constructor, but as soon as you write a custom constructor, Java remove empty constructor. Can I add an empty constructor? If you need, you can, but I don't need it, so I'm not adding it. If I need, I would right click and add another empty constructor without check. It will add it, but I don't need it, so I'm not writing it. Make sense? Java always remove empty constructor as soon as you write the custom constructor. Good. Now I have everything, but I do not have a logic of area. So we are going to write a couple of lines here. Please pay attention. Make sure you focus here. So what should I do? So I'm going to write float area equals to 3.14. Make sure you type f for float time this dot radius time this dot radius and semicolon. After I complete that, I'll say s out area equals to area. That's it. Few lines and you're done. Here I define area float because I know this is the float, and the reason I do f because if you do any value which is the decimal, Java expect you to write either float or double, and this is nothing but this will give me r square. This one give me pi, so pi r square, which will give me area, which is this one, and I'm printing the area. So you're doing awesome. If you're doing so far so good, you shouldn't be having any error. So I'm hoping right now you all are doing amazing, right? Now the reason I'm asking is because we are doing all rationally. We did this exercise, we did understood this, we got the area, and we are doing s out, and then we are doing, this is a label, it will display, this is display, and this will be the calculation of my variable value will be printed here. Make sure you save it now. So now my circle is ready. Now I want to do plug and play. Instead of rectangle, I want to plug and play. Like example, car has the old engine, I want to bring a new engine. So let's go to driver class where we have main method. And you change your mind. You say, you know what, this is fine, but here I want circle. You can change. Good news, this will not change because this guy is still talking to area. This guy know that whatever you plug, automatically it will call. So if I'm going to plug here circle, then this guy will call circle automatically. Do you agree or not? And that's the beautiful part about interface. Plug and play. Speak with me. Plug and that is the reason majority company expect you to know interface. Why? Because you can anytime change it. So now look at that. I'm going to change here instead of rectangle. What should I write? Circle. But circle has only one input. Do you guys agree or not? So let's say I'm going to write my what do you call radius is 2.0, and then f for float. So you can see I plugged it. I plugged my new class to the shape, and now I'm going to run. This time this area is going to call circle, and then it will call its area and get a pi r square. So it will be 3.14 times 2 times 2, which is 2 times 2 will be 4 times 3.14. So you can see almost it will be 13. You may see around 13, right? Because 3 times 4 will be 12. So it will be like that. So save it, right click, save it, right click, run it, and say ta-da. So you got 12.56, right? So you can see nicely. You can see without even changing anything, I was able to plug in. Can I plug here? Yes. Can I plug here? Yes. And you can play around. The main shape doesn't care what you plug in as long as you implement. Interface, if you implement, then you can plug and play. And that is the main reason people use interface. So tomorrow, if you change your mind and say, no, I don't want to use circle, I want to use triangle, you can do it if you work with interface. But if you work with class, you cannot. Questions? Was it hard? Give me thumbs up if you are very clearly understood this thing. Good? Right? Those who do not have thumbs up, you give 2 hands, so at least. Good? Awesome. Now we're going to change topic to Enum. Enum is also a very simple topic. This was asked in one of my interviews when I was going through the Java interview. So first of all, what is Enum and how it works? Now, you might have seen many times a drop-down box. You might have seen many times drop-down box. Example, country. You are not writing, you're selecting. Example, month. You are not writing, you are selecting. Example, state. You are not writing, you are selecting. Why they give you drop-down box? Why they don't give you text box? Why they don't ask you to write country name? Little clearly. Option is same. So
because they want to select from particular things, not all the things.
So if I give you text box, Pranav, you may write United States may be lowercase. Alina may write uppercase. Someone will write in mixed case. Someone will make spelling mistakes. Do you guys agree or not? So there are huge variation you will have. So when you use string, 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 which is nothing but text box. String is nothing but text box. People can write uppercase, lowercase, mixed case, spelling mistake, yes or no. So this problem happens over and over. You have a project, and in a project, you have account type. Speak with me. It's okay to little bit energy. Account type. Account type. How many account types you have? If you have seen project description, I hope you and your group have seen the project description. You have 2 account types, right? One is checking and saving. It's okay to speak up a little loud, right? I'm speaking, you can speak too. It's not like late night where you can tired and about to sleep. Little energy is required. So if you have 2 types, if I give a string, people will write various way, right? Some people write saving lowercase. Some people say savings. Some people say checking. Some people say check. There are n numbers of way people will write. To avoid that, I need to give them drop down. Yes or no? So in Java, that drop down is called enumeration. Enumeration. Enumeration means selection. Enumeration means selection. In a short form, we call enum. Enum means selection. Enum means selection. So example, let's say I want to buy a car and I go to website. I select the car and they give me color. Do they give me text box or they will give me drop down box? Drop down box. So I can select red color, green color, yellow color, blue color, right? But I cannot create my own color, right? So why? Because if I give that option, people will go crazy. They write green, lowercase, uppercase, mixed case like that. So to avoid that, we can use enum. So why we use enum? Selection. Why we use enum? To avoid typing. Why we use enum? Consistency. So no matter who you are, if I have 3 colors, you only select 3 colors. Make sense or not? Everyone agree? Now, because I don't want to spend so much time in creating a project, new project, new project, new project, I'm going to use the same project. Make sense or not? Because it will save some time. But you can create a new project if you want, but I don't want to do it. So here, this exercise which I did here is interface exercise. I'm going to do the similar exercise. I will add a couple of classes here and do this work, and that will be enum exercise. So I will save time. Okay. Now, go to our forum and go all the way, scroll a little bit up, and you will see enum here. Say yes. Only one person say yes. It's okay to say yes, right? So at least you are right place, right? So enum is nothing but selection. So example, if I have 4 directions, north, south, east, and west, I only want to give them this 4 selection. In that case, I use enum. So how enum works? Pay attention in few minutes, you will understand. These questions are asked during interview. To be honest with you, most of the people memorize it. You will not be able to address their questions. If you understand, you can use it well. This is very useful thing. But if you don't understand, you're not using useful thing. Make sense or no? So here, we are talking about car. So we can say, hey, we are going to give a color selection with 3 colors, red, green, and blue. And you start here enum. So far, we were using class. Then we use interface. Now we are using enum. Speak with me. Enum is a short form of enumeration. Enumeration means nothing but drop-down box where your selection. You are not typing, you are selecting. So if I say color Enum, what does it mean? A color, you have a drop down box with 3 values: red capital, green capital, and blue. Can I have white? No. But if I want to, I have to add here. If I want maybe yellow, yes, I need to add. But currently, we don't have that car. Make sense or no? So enums is nothing but selection. So if I talk about this example color, and tomorrow you are joining a college and you're working as a QA, and they say, hey, create enum for student. So what you can do here, student type, full-time student, part-time student, international student, yes or no? In your class, sorry, in your project, you have account type. Speak with me again.
Account type.
Thank you. So in that case, what are you going to write? Checking, saving,
Saving.
business. Do you think it's hard? And if you don't understand, you will never use enum. So far, so good. Now, enum is a type. So string is a type, integer is a type, right? So far, those are called primitive type. Integer, float, those are primitive type. These are special type. So if these are the color you have, so now let's say I have a car, and the car should have one of the type, yes or no? Yes or no? So think about, if car is a class, please pay attention. Please pay attention. If I define variable win, and I can say, let's assume I use integer. So you can easily understand that win is integer. But if I write here color, should I write string here or should I write color?
String.
If I write string, you are not using enum. Makes sense or not? Because if you write string, people will use whatever they want. We want them to select. So color, we say you have only this selection. So you're going to write this one. So when you are creating your project and you have account class, you will have account number, right? Maybe integer account number, right? But you have account type. So like example type, would you write string here or you create an enum account type and then you use account type here? What are you going to do?
Account type.
Make sense? So that way you restrict them. If I use string, can I use string? Yes, but that's bad practice. It will work, but man, each one will write different spelling. We want to avoid that. To avoid that, you do enum. Make sense or no? Are we understanding or no? So technically speaking, there are many opportunities you have. So example, customer. Customer also have a type. One is individual customer and one is a business customer. So in that case, I can create enum customer type, individual, business. Yes or no? This simple thing, people don't even use lifetime. Enum is hard. Why it's hard? Because you don't understand. Enum is actually making life easy, right? So first of all, the process is very simple. Ask yourself when you want selection. At that time, you use enum. And then whatever selection value you have, you write here. So example, if I have month here, I want to select month. So what am I going to write here? Month.
Month.
And here I'm going to write January, February, March, April, May, June, July. You cannot write any additional 13 month or 14 month. Otherwise, people will be crazy and come up with a various month. And then we'll have a problem because a month which is not exist in calendar may exist in your data. Yes or no? And you will not know how many days you are, 30 or 20, 28, because you will have a problem. This problem happens because people do not know programming. And that's why people create a problem. So good people, so good programmer will create enum. Enum is a good practice, right? So we are good so far. Now how to use it? So I am in a car and you can see here, I use enum here. Do you guys agree? Say yes or no.
Yes.
So far I was using string, but I'm using now color because I'm saying that, hey, you have a car, but in color you have only 3 choices. So whenever I use constructor, you can see I'm using enum because it's a type. Enum is a type. Anytime you use type, only 3 values are allowed. How many color you have? Red, green, and
Blue.
right? And then rest of the things, same thing, like getter and setter. And then I use how to do that. So we're gonna do exercise together. Are you guys ready? So first we're gonna do enum. So go to your NetBeans, right click on a project, package. Right click on a package and say new. You may not see enum, so don't cry. Are you guys able to see enum?
No.
So don't cry, go to other. Remember, don't cry. Just go to other. So if you don't see enum, it means you have never used it. Once you use it, it will come. So go to other, say yes.
Yes.
And then, so when you're other, you get options. And in other, click on Java, say yes. And say Java enum. Make sense or not? See how easy it is? I get a lot of emails. Hey, I don't know why. I don't see enum.
Yes.
Do you see here or not?
Yes.
Well, once you next it will ask you what's the name. So you need to think about what type of drop-down box you want to do. So example, if you are doing student type, you can write student type. So here I'm doing color. So I'm using C capital color. In your case, you will say account type, A capital and T capital, account type. Makes sense? Customer type. So color and finish, and now it will write enum for us. Easy, right? Now you can write whatever color you want. So I'm saying red color I'm going to give you, and I'm going to give you blue color. That's pretty much I have. That's it. So if you want more color, feel free. Do I need to write uppercase? No. Whatever you write will be shown up as a drop-down type of thing. So you can write like this way, red and green. That's also fine. Whichever way you write, user will select. That's pretty much it. You don't have to write upper, but it's a human practice that you write upper is kind of drop down. It's up to you. So I define the type. Yes. No, there is a syntax. These are rules. So we are following syntax. So you are absolutely right. Normally we write semicolon, but here we don't. Right? So far so good. So now you save it. So we are done with that. Now right click on the package and say new Java class. And we'll say car, C capital car. In this object, I'm going to use the enum. So in your case, you will be using customer object, and there you will use customer type enum. You will have account object where you will use account type enum. Make sense or no? Enum is just a type, but you have to use with some main object. Right? So in our case, car is the object, and there we will use color type. So finish. And for time being, we'll define a couple of attributes. So let's get started. So we'll say private, we'll say int win, and we'll say private string make. Make means Chrysler, GM, or like that. And I'll say private C capital color and lowercase color. That's my type, enum type. Remember, this is not a string. This is my enum, right? And rest of the any attributes you want, you can define. For your project, you can define whatever attributes you need, you can define that. Everyone is doing good so far?
Yes.
Now, I'm almost going to ask you the same thing. Remember, as fast as you can do. Remember?
Yes.
Do it faster than me, right? Do it faster than me. Insert code, getter and setter. So you are taking my class, you should know this thing, and you should always do as fast as you, because you can save time. Otherwise, other activity you will spend more time. So you can do constructor, create a custom constructor, check. I like custom constructor, so we can create all together. And insert code and toString. What did you do? Don't ask me. All the time we are doing. Okay, so done. You can see that it's nicely understanding that you are using custom constructor and it is also using type appropriately. So far so good. Give me thumbs up so far. Now we're gonna create another class called car driver. So we're gonna create another class. So you can select this package right click here, new Java class, new Java class, new Java class, and we'll say car driver. So at least you can see that this is the car driver. Means it's the main method basically. In this class we'll have main method. Car driver. You can give any name, but I'm giving a driver. It's a car driver, so we know that this class will call car. And now finish. Now you can borrow the main method if you have it, or if you don't, just go get it somehow. So I have this in a main method, so I'm going to borrow the main method and press enter. So this is the structure I want you to have. Now, inside this, I'm going to create an instance of our car. So far, if you remember, instance we create with the car is a type, and this is my variable car. I'll say new. I want to create my own copy from my car, and as soon as I do that, it's going to cry. So please understand, we want to create a copy from our object. So this is our car, that's our template. We are calling empty constructor. It's going to cry. Say, hey, you don't have empty constructor, you have custom constructor. New means create one car. So you can say car 1 also, you can say car 2, car 3, or you can just say car lowercase. This is the class that represents this class. It's pointing to this class. This one pointing to constructor. But we don't have empty constructor, we have custom constructor. So go inside this and do control space,
Space.
and it will give you hint, win, string make, and color, like that. So if I click on that, it will give me win. So I'm going to say win is 1, and make, I'll say double quotation, make GM. And you can see automatically it select red. But if I don't like red color car, I can remove the red, and if I say dot, it gives me selection, which one you want. Do you see that? You like it? You cannot type it, you can select it. You are not allowed to write in
One
case.
more time, I'm sorry.
There is nothing I did. You do it yourself too. You just write here and just say dot.
Oh.
You just remove and just a dot. When you do it, you will see that. So 1 is my win number. This is my make, and you say dot, color dot. It is going to give you selection.
Mm-hmm.
If you want more, you need to go back to Enum and change. Right? So remember one thing. I'm going to repeat one more time this thing. What is the object you have? Car. In your project, what is the object you will have? Account, customer. And this is the lowercase. You can have a lowercase account or lowercase customer. Then new, then car. If I write empty constructor, it's going to cry. If you move, it will say that there is no empty constructor. So if you put your cursor and then control space, it's going to give you option. You click on the link, it will give you hint, win, make, and color. Order matters. This is string and this is the enum. So double click on it. It automatically select the first one. So I just delete the red and I see what are the options I have. So I can do dot. As soon as I do dot, it's going to give me option. If I write this way, it's going to cry. If I do red like that, it's going to cry. Right? So win is 1. I said GM like that. If I try it like this, it's not going to work. If I write lowercase, it's not going to work. The only way it will work if you use enum. What is the enum? Color. And if I say dot, it's going to give me, hey, you only select these 2 items. So I said blue color car. So it's selected. Now if I do S out and I print car, I remove double quotation. If I run, save it and run, you will be able to see the complete detail. And you can see the complete detail. So you can see I have a car, completely car is here. And you can see it's automatically giving me color blue. Do you agree? It looks here blue, but here it gives me color blue. Why? Because it is the way I have defined my color. So when I define my color, if you remember in Enum, I just defined the 2 colors, red and blue. So it's showing up. Make sense or no? Any questions so far? Let's say I have another car. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy this thing And I copy these two lines, and I'm going to say this is my car. Again, so I remove that because it's duplicate, so I just remove. And I said this time, this is a second car, and this is, let's say, GM car, and this time I have red. And if I save it and run it, I will have another car, and both will be printed. So Enum just helps you to avoid the error, and that's why it's a good practice to have Enum in your objects whenever you have selection. You can see that one car is a blue and one is red. Nicely done. This is the Enum. This is the constructor. So entire thing is a constructor. You're creating a new, so you're creating copy. You can create multiple copy, car1, car2, car3, and then you can print it. This is the class, and that class you have created here. Any questions, concerns, doubts so far? Can I count everyone is clear with Enum? Right? It took me a while because no one has explained me. So I had to literally understand that. But once I understood, I use hundreds of times because it makes life easy because you can avoid your errors, right? So example, sometimes you will have a customer type, sometimes you have product type, sometimes you have category type, because everything you have selection. Everything you have selection, whenever you have selection, you use Enum. Okay. Now we are almost 7:57, so we will be almost on a time of break. But before we take a break, I want to make sure I explain what we're going to do. Means once we come back after break, I want to do something. Two exercises I want to do. One exercise I want to give you about unit testing. So we're going to do unit testing. We'll create a class. Please understand. See on the screen when I explain. Don't do multitasking. It will be in my understanding. The last worst thing you do in your programming field is that, because your 2 minutes, your 10 minutes will change your 20 years. I'll tell you. I'm not just kidding here. But you are not investing 2 or 3 hours successfully. And you will cry 20 years because these mistakes you will repeat. So make sure you don't do that mistake. Focus here. This is not a class which is I can listen music and I can talk someone and I can text someone. This is not that class. These are very profound class, right? That's the reason Java is the foundation for almost all programming language. Once you know Java, you are unstoppable force. So don't do multitasking. Understand the concept. So the next after break, what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a class for your class specific. I will use a student class. We'll couple of attribute will define and we'll create a few methods. Maybe let's do grade. That way it will be easier. Grade class will do. And we'll define subject one, maybe math, science, English, and English subject will define. And we'll create a couple of methods, maybe get total, kind of that method, get total, average, like that. Right? We'll do that. Then what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a test class. We're gonna create a test class with TestNG. So we're gonna do TestNG. So we'll create a TestNG class. What is TestNG? It's a unit framework. Unit testing framework. You must know. Remember, if you say I'm a QA, testing framework. If I say I'm a QA, you cannot even use word QA if you do not know this thing, because this is your essential skill. Remember, essential means if you don't know, you are not a QA. If you don't know, you are not a QA. Don't even use word QA in your dictionary, because unit testing will be your DNA every day. 60 to 80% time you will be spending here. Selenium starts from here. So this is the first topic of Selenium. So if you say I'm a QA, you better know. Otherwise, don't even think about QA. It's extremely easy. From here, next 8 weeks are extremely easy. The hardest part was a little bit Java, but it takes time, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. But now onwards, it's a lot easier because it's a framework. You are hardly going to write 5 to 10 lines. Most of the time, you will write 5 to 10 lines. So you're not going to do a lot of logic. QA is a less logic, but I'm preparing you for the hardest situation. So when you go in interview or go in a big company, you will not have any challenge. That's the reason I'm preparing you that. But overall QA, your challenges will be lighter. So you will write a unit test framework with that. In there, you will test methods. So you will come here and you will test these methods. And when you test the method, please understand, if you test this method, then your coverage is only one method. But if you don't test this method, then you have not covered successfully entire class. So there are interview questions as a QA. 3 words, make sure you understand. Test coverage. Test coverage is a different word, coverage versus code coverage. Please pay attention, code coverage. So test coverage means I have 3 tests, acceptance criteria. I have 3 acceptance criteria. And if I test 1 or 2, then my test coverage is only 66%. Because I wrote 3 test cases. But I implemented only 2. So my test coverage is less. Or I have feature. In this case, feature has 2 methods. So I have feature 1 and feature 2. I only tested 1 feature. Then my test coverage is 50%. Make sense? So common sense. If I have 5 features, how many features would you test? 5. Common sense, yes or no? And you say, I tested 3. Will your boss will be very happy? Will your customer will be very happy? No. So don't even say that. It's just a common sense. If somebody says I have 5 features, better test 5. But in each feature, just an example, you have a multiple item, so you need to test multiple item. You need to make sure all item what user or your product owner says, you test it. If product owner say you need to test 5 different cases, log in with correct username, correct password, 1. Log in with incorrect username, incorrect password, 2. Log in with empty username, empty password, 3. Log in with correct username, incorrect password, 4. So if your product owner said that test cases, you better test all. And if you test all, your test coverage is 100%. What is that? 100%. It means you're a good QA. But if you sneak it and you don't do it, then it will blow up in production. And that's the reason people will start blaming you. Remember, QA is a responsibility. It's something called opportunity to deliver a good quality product. But if you don't do good test coverage, there is a problem going to happen. Do you agree or not? And that is the reason many times you notice that people are driving car and the wheel comes out. In case if you have not seen, there was a real scenario, like I forgot about exact year, but it happened, I think, if I'm not making Kia car, I believe. The guy was driving in a breeze and the wheel came out. Think about, he's seeing that wheel is going. Think about that guy's mental situation. He's seeing something is going out and that's his car wheel going out. It was a brand problem and no one buy afterward that car. Even if people give you $1,000, people will not buy. Do you agree or not? Think about that QA. That person will have a bigger problem, right? Because he or she has not tested, right? So test coverage is important. Then question is, what is code coverage? So code coverage means if you have written 5 lines, how many lines? 5 lines. Out of that, you have done if condition, loop condition, but you only tested like a 4 line. So your code coverage is only 4 line. 1 line you never tested. It is possible that you may have problem. So if somebody asks, test coverage is 100%, does it mean code coverage is 100%? No. You can touch the line. Like example, somebody say login, you enter username and password. And then there are situation is if and else, you did not tested one condition and that condition blow up in production. Most of the time it works, but one situation it may not work. Do you guys agree or not? And that situation create a problem. Many people die. In case if you do not know, there are people who are like in a space shuttle. So there are people, I will show you so many examples, but because of one condition was not tested, it blew up. In case if you know, like 3 or 4 years back, Boeing, it was really good news, not good news, sorry, it's a bad news, but it was a big news, I would say, 3 years back, that Boeing, the pilots were about to land. You guys know what landing means? They call landing gear. So they really put that, so the wheel comes down and then it comes from we call landing to runway, right? So when they were doing that, software was reacting. So what happened? The pilot want to do landing. Software said no. Software said no. So think about your landing without will. Think about how the plane will have. And it happened accident. Luckily, not too many people died because this was caught, and FAA, Flight Aviation, asked Boeing to stop all the plane in the world. Yes, all the plane in the world. It was a huge branding problem. And because the QA has not, it was a software glitch. It was a software glitch. So what I'm trying to say, don't just go as a job. It's a responsibility. How many people would have died because of one or two QA did not do job? Not to forget about the disaster for company and life and all, and happens because of QA. So don't be scared. It's a responsibility, guys, right? Simple. So test coverage and code coverage, your goal is to have a higher. It's better. No matter what you do, code coverage will not go 100%. You may go up to 80 or 85%. So in interview, people will ask, what is your code coverage? Just say we do 85%, because 100% is not possible. And even it's not worth most of the time. But then there is a few lines come. Listen carefully. Code coverage 100% is not possible. But then the question is, can I have method coverage 100%? Answer is yes. Can I have a branch coverage? If and else, else if 100%? Answer supposed to be yes. So how that coverage works, I'll cover after break. I might run out of time, so menu I'll just walk through quickly, but this is very important because this is also part of your project. I want you to do at least one or two tests where you can show me your code coverage, your branch coverage, your class coverage and all. We will do that super duper exercise. So let's take a small break and we'll be back and we'll do this exercise. Let's take it. Okay, welcome back. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to do a go through one exercise. This exercise is kind of easy, but because we are doing first time, I will try to explain. You guys can follow me. I will be very honest with you. Some of you may not be able to run it because of your machine setup. Some of you will not have an exact result. So don't cry, still see the result. And when you practice, you may be able to resolve. There are three problems you may have. Problem number one, your JDK might be different. JDK stands for Java Development Kit. You are using 17, I'm using right now 8. So there might be differences. You might have a NetBeans version difference because I have 8.1 and you might have 15 or 12.3, right? But there might be an issue. Don't panic, understand the process and then spend some time. Last time when I taught, 80% students were able to do it, 80%. So I'm pretty confident you should be able to do it. But in case if you are not able to do it, it's not end of the world. You can do a little later, but make sure you understand the mechanics. Sounds good? So let's get started. First thing first, we'll go to forum. This time we're going to change the forum. So we go all the way up and we have to change the link. So go to all the way up and click on the quality assurance, which is our category. Click on quality assurance. Say yes. Click on quality assurance all the way, right?
Yes.
And then we have this one, Maven, JUnit, and TestNG, right? Now let me just explain. JUnit and TestNG, they are both kind of similar. There might be people will ask you which one is better, why, They both are unit test framework. They both are unit test framework. Unit means small class, one class, unit. Rather than multiple class, you just do one class at a time. So example, if you do student, then student test. Then if you are saying school, the school and student are called component because you're combining. But you test each individually, school separately, student separately. JUnit was the early, which is Apache JUnit. Apache JUnit was very popular in the market and it's still popular in the market. I used JUnit for more than 15 years and it's still in market. TestNG came by Google, mainly motivated by JUnit. Of course, Google like to create their own, so they created TestNG. They both are comparable. It's not like one is best and one is worse. TestNG has a couple of benefits. they allow you parallel executions. That's one benefit, parallel execution. Now you say, what is parallel means? So when you write a test case, 6 test cases, if each test case take 5 minutes, then 6 test case will take 30 minutes. Do you guys agree? If math is your problem, don't worry about it. Just assume it takes longer, right? Don't worry about math. Just say it takes longer. In JUnit, it will take 30 minutes. But if you do in a TestNG, it will take 5 minutes. So you can see how much time you can save because you're doing parallel. JUnit has a lot of flavor because it's new and they have kind of come up with a new thing. Like example, you can do parameterize, certain things automate that, certain things allows you like write your own custom thingy and you can add that. There are some flavors out there. I'm not going to talk tonight because that's too much cover in one. We will be covering TestNG and all in coming days also. It's not like end of the world. Today, I just want to make sure one hello world works. Make sense? Now, there is a video created by me. So make sure you watch that video. However, click on the link. So click on the link so you can go inside. Don't worry about everything. Just go all the way down till you have homework here, okay? Homeworks are there. A lot of homeworks are there. Watch and all. Go all the way down, and you will see TestNG somewhere. Keep going. Yeah, TestNG, right? Here you go. And there are advantage, disadvantage, and all. Read about it. This forum is for you. Read about it. But TestNG and JUnit both are kind of similar. But as I said before, TestNG is Google, so we're gonna focus on TestNG. I found TestNG works consistently between old and new version. JUnit does not work, so that's why I'm not using JUnit tonight. Next week we'll cover JUnit as well. Now, this video I would highly recommend it. Highly recommend that you watch a few times so it will give you idea. This video prepared with Eclipse and TestNG. So you can also download Eclipse. You can also do TestNG with that. Scroll down. There is a comparison. I would highly recommend you read about it. It's not that difficult. Both are kind of free, open source. Both are having a pros and cons. We talk about Enum and all. Don't worry about it. But now, in this example, I'm using Enum, and you should not be surprised with that. Say yes or no. And this is something we already talked, and I'm using a class called student, right? I'm not going to use similar thing, but I'm going to create my own class like a grade. I want to create a grade. So maybe you can use this one. So we can do cut and paste, right? This can be usable. Yeah, we can use it. So we can use it. There's a Enum, no problem. And there is a math, science, English is there. And there's a business method. So business method is, our business method here is get grade. Now I created a very simple method, pass or fail, to just give you an example. But in your case, you can do a lot of things. Like example, if you're doing a account, then you can have total balance. Or if you have withdraw, how much you are withdrawing, you can create as many business method you want. You can test it out. I'm going to show you how to test. It's so easy testing business method. It's just like one liner. So it's not that complex. Now, in order for us to test, there are a few things we need to understand. TestNG is a framework. TestNG is the framework. So whenever I use framework, you need to understand palm.xml. Whenever I use framework, you need to understand palm.xml. And in palm.xml, you will add dependency. What you will add? Dependency. So I'm going to show you how to add dependency. That dependency has a jar. Dependency has a jar file. Jar file you can download automatically from the internet. So your computer will download that jar file automatically. Now, who downloads that? Maven downloads that file. So in your NetBeans, you already have a Maven installed. So Maven will make a call to internet and it download that file. I'll cover more detail next week. Don't worry about it. Right now, we already have it. We just need to add dependency. As soon as I add dependency, it will make a call and get that file. Now, some of you will have a problem. Your machine will not make a call and get it. Some of you will have a problem. Listen carefully. If you don't listen, you will spend 10 days and you will not be able to resolve. And I really hate that. The reason I hate, you are not spending 10 minutes and you're wasting 10 days. And frustration will be tremendous because it's not working. The reason it's not working is you're not listening. I know with 20 years of experience in this, there are problems, but there is a solution also. I'm going to show you solution. As I said before, 80% students will be able to do. But if you remain in that last 20%, it's not my fault. It's yours. Make sense or no? So listen. If you don't figure it out the problem, you will have frustration. Nothing will work. Why? Because your machine may have different setup. It will not make a call. It will not download. If you don't download the jar, you cannot do TestNG. If you cannot do TestNG, you cannot do code coverage. And you cannot do code coverage, you cannot do your project complete. Make sense? So technically speaking, your computer is there but not useful. Good news, there is a solution. Each problem has a solution. I have spent time, I will show you that. So make sure you follow the steps and you will work. But anytime when you are saying TestNG, there is a dependency. Anytime I say JUnit, there is a dependency. The dependency, where should I add? Palm.xml. Speak with me. XML. You don't type it, you cut and paste. You cut and paste. If you don't type, cut and paste. As soon as you put it, save it, and compile, your program will make a call to internet, download the library automatically. It is automatically download. In a real life, also it works exactly the same way. It will make a call to your company server, get the file, and it will start working. You don't have to do anything. Maven will take care because Maven knows palm.xml. Palm.xml knows dependency. Everything will work automatically. But there are situations where you have a problem, so we need to educate palm.xml how to download it. I'll give you the steps also. Good. Next. So first thing will make it work. In order to do so, we can make our life easy. Let's do step by step a small brand new project. So let's get started. So we'll say file, please follow the flow. File, new project, brand new project, Maven project. And next, and this is our my code coverage, because this is the first time we are doing TestNG. So you can say my code coverage or my TestNG code coverage, whatever project name you want to give, you can give it. You can give a TestNG code coverage, whatever name doesn't matter. Okay. Remember, a little bit smile, a little bit faith, it will work. Okay. Now, I'll go back to the project, which is here, and you can see that palm.xml is there and source package is there. Expand that so you can see the palm.xml. This is the best thing for life perspective. You will be touching this thing, but you do not type. Remember, you do not type. Palm.xml is always there because it is always in your project file. You always see that. Remember, it's always there. Because you are doing Maven project, more smile, more success, you will see that, right? Always see on the screen and try right. Okay, there is nothing separate your machine versus mine. Now double click on palm.xml, you will see that XML file. In this file right now, there is no dependency. We will add dependency as we go further, but do not type. If you have error here, nothing will work. Okay, accidentally, let's say you miss this curly bracket, it will cry. If it cries, means you made a mistake. Fix it before you go further. Don't try to say, I'll do later. No, fix it. Because if this is a problem, nothing will work. So it's important you don't have any red color here. Now, in this source package, we have package. So right now, select the package and let's go to our forum and we'll create an Enum. So double click here and select student type. Double click, make sure you follow, okay? Don't go slow because I will not wait for you. I'll continue. So double click on here, copy this student type and right click on a package and say new Java Enum, new Java Enum, new Java Enum and paste it and then finish it. You can see that Enum is created. Now go back to the forum and copy this full-time and part-time, the two things, copy that. Everyone should know how to copy, highlight and Control C and paste it inside and save it. You're done with the Enum. Do not type, copy paste because I want to make sure we get success. When you do project, you have all challenges, you should resolve those. So class Enum is done. Now go back to the forum. Now we are going to select students. Double click on student and copy that student. We are going to create a class, student class. Go to forum, sorry, NetBeans, select the package select the package, and then right click new Java class. This time it's a Java class. First time we have selected Enum. This time it's a Java class, and paste that student and finish. So you will have empty structure. Now I want to copy entire logic. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy, check it out. See here, entire student class copy. Highlight entire student class with the business method and everything till the last curly bracket. Right? Make sure you use external mouse. It costs only $4, but it will give you speed. Don't become like, touch screen, because you will not be able to highlight properly and you will be very slow. So always remember, external mouse will give you 10% speed. Highlight entire thing. If it is partially copied, it won't work. So make sure it's highlight everything. Start from here all the way. We are a programmer, we need mouse. Okay, highlight that. It will give you speed. Do Control C. And then highlight entire student class like this. Highlight this and do Control V. Highlight, so it will delete this one and it will paste other one. Control V and you're done. Give me thumbs up if you have zero error. You know what you're doing. Awesome. People on phone, give me thumbs up if you are able to do it so far. Awesome. Awesome. If you're not able to do that, means you need a lot more practice, guys. Okay, highlight and copy and paste. You need a lot of practice because you need an external mouse. Okay, make sure you learn how to copy and paste. Basically, what we did is, let me repeat again. I'm just going to do Control G, just highlight entire student class. How easy it is. Just use external mouse, highlight it, do Control C. Once you do Control C, go back to your and highlight your student class like that. And then Control V. How easy it is. I have done all my homework. See, I have my attributes. I have setter and getter. I have constructed toString, and I have added one business method that if your 3 subjects average is less than 60, then you're fail, otherwise you pass. Simple method I have done. This is the only method I have done. I'm taking 3 subjects, divided by 3. If it is less than 60, you fail, otherwise pass. Very simple. Right now, I save everything. There is no error. If your error, you do not know how to copy paste, maybe you can try later. At this moment, I'm hoping you are with me so far, right? Now, at this moment, we have classes, but we do not have TestNG. So what is TestNG? So TestNG allows me to test it out student. So what is test student? Student testing means students has an attribute, math, science. You can see there are attributes are there, math, science, English, like that. So if I provide this value, like example, if I say math 60, science 60, and English 60, will I fail or pass? Pass, right? Right? If I have 100, 60, and 100, will I pass or fail? Let's say I have 0, 0, and 10. Will I pass or fail?
Fail.
I need to taste that thing, and that's why TestNG is very important. Make sense? So we want to taste this class, and mostly people taste the business method. So I will be using constructor, I'll be using business method, and I'm going to show you how code coverage works and how test coverage works. Are you guys ready? Now, follow the flow, okay? I don't want you go too slow, because if you are multitasking, guaranteed you will not be able to do. And don't be proud on multitasking. Multitasking means slow, because if you're not able to do, then you're slow. Very simple. Do one single task at this moment, which pay attention to. TestNG, once you understand lifetime, you will use it. It's simple, very simple. It will be hard only when you don't pay attention. Okay. So right click on a project. This is the right click on a project. Right click on a project, not a package. Right click on a project. Say yes. Okay. Then
Yes.
new, and go to other. Then new and go to other. Make sure you see here. New, go to other. New and go to other. New, other. And look for unit testing. Say yes. And there you will see TestNG test case. select that. Make sure you select TestNG test case. No matter how many times I say students select something else and say it's not working, you know what's the problem? Not paying focus. So if you're paying attention, you will not make mistake. But there are 4 or 5 selections are there, human nature, whichever exit, just get it. Each exit will not take you to the destination. Make sense or no? So it's important you select the right option. You are selecting TestNG test case. Now there will be interview question. What is the suite and what is the test case? Test case means one test case. But if you have a bunch of test cases together, you create a suite, which I'll cover next week. So this one I'll cover next week. Right now, we are covering test case. Always see on the screen. Remember, this is the easiest thing in the world. I don't want it to become harder for you. Make sure you see on the screen. So TestNG test case and just say next. So when you do next, it's going to ask you class name. Remember, class name has to be meaningful. So what is our unit? Our unit class is what? Car or student? Student. So our test should be student test, where T should be capital. If you are doing bank, what should be the name? Bank test. T should be capital. If you do account, what should be the
Account test.
Each and every class should have a test. Each and every class should have test. If you have that, then your coverage goes up. Make sense? So I have a student, so I'll say S stand for student and T stand for test, both capital. And then package, you write a package name test.com. Whatever you want. So I'll use ITXPS. So here I use student S capital test, and this is the package I use. Test.com.ITEXPS. You can write anything. Normally in your company, you will start with test because test should be in separate folder. So far, so good. Many times students have noticed that they don't write test uppercase. When you do Jenkins integration, you will have error. I'm telling you, follow footsteps, what I'm telling you. Trust me, smooth life forever. Second thing, TestNG comes with annotations. Listen carefully. TestNG comes with annotations. And I'll cover a lot of annotation in coming class. Right now, I just want to make it work. Make sense? Am I making sense or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
My goal is to make it work, because itself it takes a couple of weeks and your project is due next week. I want to make sure you get enough so you can complete the project. Each and every annotation I'll explain. I have a video which I cover, which has a lot of things. Right now, I just want to do it. But when you do it, there are annotation has a meaning. So what is annotation? So annotation means it's kind of precursor. Speak with me. Precursor. So example, if boss is coming to your team, of course, everyone has to start showing that I'm working. Yes or no? Boss is coming. So someone said, boss is coming. So that's a precursor. Be ready. So that is the annotation gives precursor to compiler. Be ready. This is coming. So it kind of creates certain extra informations while it is compiling. So you are writing less, but compiler understand more. So example, if you are getting Amazon box and if it's a danger, that what do you call skeleton symbol, they don't say that far, go away, right? They don't say that, just a symbol, red danger. As soon as you see, what are you going to do? You're going to be far. If they write fragile, you're going to automatically lift with care. Do you agree or not? Heavy. They don't write. One picture gives you precursor. Yes or no? So annotation is like that. It gives you precursor to compiler. Hey, this is a testing. Compiler will understand a lot more. Right now, don't worry. Just do finish. When you finish, magic happens. It does a lot of things for you. It does a lot of things for you. Trust me, many of you will use 80% of your life. Let's repeat. 80% of your life as a QA here. 80%. Day in and day night, you will be doing that. And this is the easiest thing in the world. You can learn in 2 weeks. But people, so hard. 2 weeks, if you can, 2 weeks means because we are meeting only once in a week. Otherwise, you can learn in 2 days. Okay? It's not hard at all. But people don't get it. That's the reason you are paid 100,000. Because only few people get it. Make sense? So right now everything is written. See here how many classes is imported. A lot of classes is imported, right? And you should not have any red color. Give me thumbs up if everything is good. There is no red color. If you are red color, stop it. You don't do anything. You're done. There is nothing you can do further. So if you have red color, it means your machine is not set up. You have a problem. It can be n numbers of ways problem happen. If you are having no red color, give me thumbs up. So at least I know 10%, 50%, or 60% students are able to do along with me. People on phone, so far, only 1%. Everyone else have error, or what happened? At least, okay, good, good, good. 6, 7 students, okay, fine. So at least I can see 8 or 9 students are giving me thumbs up. So at least I'm assuming you have no error. This is not an error. Yellow color is not a problem, but red color is a problem. Now the question is why you have red color. Red color happened with 2 reasons. So let's investigate. The first reason is the dependency. If you don't have a dependency. And the second reason you have dependency, but your computer is not able to go and get the dependency. So if you are using a computer, maybe your husband or maybe your spouse, listen carefully. If you are using computer from your husband or spouse, a corporate computer, corporate means like example, your husband work AT&T or maybe Nokia or Motorola, it's not going to work because your computer has a security tie. So your computer doesn't make call outside. Possibility is there. So if you're using computer which is very secure, possibility is there, it will not get downloaded. Second, you might have antivirus which does not allow you to go outside. Third, you may not have internet. There can be any number of reasons. So that is the reason do not use corporate computer. Have your own computer and always buy Dell. You won't have any problem. But if you are using different type of computer, you may have different type of problem. The reason it is Windows itself is not making those calls. So I'll give you a hint, those who are having an error a little bit later. Because Windows itself is not making calls. See, I didn't do anything. Many of you didn't anything. It worked, but there are some students or some computer did not get that. There are solutions are there. Bear with me, but let's do investigation. So first thing first, whenever we do this exercise, now double click on form.xml. Double click on form.xml and you will see dependency TestNG. Say yes. Say yes. I wanted it to hear yes. Just only one word I want to hear. Yes. Only one person say yes. Come on.
Yes.
This dependency gives me idea that my computer is making now call to internet. This dependency automatically added because of NetBeans. Make sense? The NetBeans knows now the TestNG we are using, so it's there. Second, it's a dependencies and dependency. Make sure you pay attention. It means you can have multiple dependency if you want. As we go further tonight, we can have many dependency. Right now we are using TestNG, but later on, after a few minutes, I'll add a couple of other dependency. This is the version we are using, and we are using these dependency only for testing. So far, so good. So I have dependency. Now I'm going to save everything and right click here and do first thing. Please understand, right click and just say clean build. Right click on a project and say clean build and see what happened with console. Clean build. What happened with console? See the console. It is downloading something for you. If it is downloading, then you're doing great. It's going to download. It's going to download and give you success. It's going to start downloading and give you success. Make sense? If you are getting success, then your machine is still doing good. So far, so good. So what happened right now? Your machine is able to check that dependency downloaded. If not, it start downloading. It will download and put in your machine. When it put in your machine, it adds into .m2 folder. Speak with me. .m2 folder. This is sometimes people ask in interview. Which folder it put dependency? .m2 folder. Dot means hidden, and M2 means Maven 2. Maven 2 was old name. They kept the same name. It download all the dependency and keep there. So far, so good. We'll cover more next week, but just want to make sure you have it. I have built success. So I'm now ready to start testing. Can I? Okay. Now, those who are able to do up to this level, I want to say congratulations. You're almost there, 80% there. Now let me go back to my forum. And in my forum, I want to do this thing. Everything I mentioned here, there are 3 steps you need to speak with me. Again, I'm very serious about it. Speak with me. Declare.
Declare.
Yeah, you don't have to speak this. First step is declare. Please, I want full attention here. Declare. So in your test, the first line is declare. So when you declare, you need to know which class you are testing and then your variable. So in your project, you will have account, lowercase account. You will have, let's say, what you call customer, lowercase customer. So what you are testing, if you're testing bank, then this should be bank, lowercase bank. This can be customer, lowercase customer. This can be account, lowercase account. Are we clear with declaration? Always you do declare, first step. Clear? Say yes. Don't tell me that you are, oh, it's not working. The reason it's not working because you're not following steps correctly. Surprising me, right? I give you recording for you to repeat, review, and rewind. If you don't do that, then nothing will happen automatically, right? Some action required. So first step is declare. Now the second step, speak with me. Instantiation. Again,
Instantiation.
So what is instantiate? So example, first I declare student STU. So now I can say lowercase STU equals to new student as capital student and constructor. So when I use new, it's instantiate. Make sense or no? Because in Java, unless you create a copy, you cannot work. Because the main thing is a template. And then when you create a copy, you can decorate it. So first you declare. So I declare variable STU. So now I'm going to use that variable and then I instantiate with new with the constructor, this guy constructor. I use empty constructor. Make sense? So instantiation normally you do in a setup method. Speak with me. Setup method. Setup method means anytime you run a test, it will call setup method. Anytime you run a test, it will call setup method. So if you run 3 times test, how many times setup method will be called?
3 times.
So that is the reason you instantiate in that. So everything will be fresh. If you don't instantiate that, then it will have previous effect and it might have an unpredictable result. Make sense or not? So we need to instantiate in setup method. I'll show you. Always follow proper instantiation. There are other concepts I'll cover next class. The last but not least is a test method, which is annotation test method. So last step is which method you want to test, but you need to add a annotation test. So that is a test method. So in our case, we have business method. So I want to test 1. But if I have 2 business methods, then I will have 2 test methods. So example, if I have a calculator, please pay attention. I have add and I have multiply. How many methods I have?
2.
2. So I'll say test add and I'll say test multiply. So if I have 20 business method, how many test? 20. So that's why your life will be busy here, because when you work, there will be 8 developers. How many? Your morning to evening, you will be writing test methods, because a lot of methods and you will be writing a lot of test method. Make sense? Each method you can have 1 test method or multiple test method. Make sense? So again, speak with me. First is declaration.
Declaration.
Now, let's see how it works. I'm going to show you here. Relax and enjoy. So first step is declaration, which normally you do as soon as the curly bracket ends. So your curly bracket ends here, the first thing declare. So this become a global. This become a global variable. So this variable will be available across the method. Across the method. Are we clear? Always, as soon as the test class, after curly bracket you declare. So that become a global variable and available to all methods. Step number 1 is done. Now step 2, you are going to look for setup method. You are going to look for setup method, and setup method you are going to instantiate. This variable is the same variable as you declare on top. This is the constructor. I'm using empty constructor. It is possible sometime I use custom constructor, but I always use in before method and in a setup method. Clear? Say yes. Are we clear? Instantiation means new. So I have created a new and I've given to my variable. Now scroll down and I'm going to create a test method. So test method, I'm going to set English, math and science score, and I'm saying, are you pass or fail? So if I give 90, 90, what do you think? Are you expecting pass or fail?
Pass.
So this is my expectation. And this is say, hey student, what are you returning to? That's called actual. Expectation and actual both match, then assertion has to be equal. If equal happen, then test pass. Let's repeat. So first you are setting, this is called setting the value. You are giving value English, math, and science. So you know that you give a high score, so you're expecting the student should pass. But then you're calling STU, hey, what is your get grade? So this will call student class the get grade method. The logic will execute and you will get return. When you get return, if you get pass, the assert equals will say, oh, green, everything is pass. But let's say some reason it say fail. You are expecting pass and you got fail, then assert say, oh, then it will give you a red color and say test fail. Makes sense or not? And the same thing, if I give you a bad grade, right? I know that I give you poor grade, I was expecting fail. So when I say student, what is your grade? Actual should come fail, and if that match is pass. So how many test methods I wrote?
2.
2. I'm passing, this is called populating data. I'm populating data and then I'm testing the logic. Because I'm doing 2 values, the reason, because if you see the business logic, I have if condition. One condition, when I pass this total, if the average is less, then I'm going in this condition. This is called branch 1. Speak with me. Branch 1. And if I only test that, my branch coverage is 50%. So in order for me to go this branch, I need to have different value of this 3. So my branch can go here, so I can test it out. So in order for me to test branch 1 and branch 2, I need 2 test methods. Test 1 method will cover branch 1 and test 2 method will cover branch 2. Make sense? So if I have 2 test methods, I have all branches, so I have branch cover 100%. It means I'm a good QA. Yes or no? No one will tell you. That's called common sense. You guys agree or not? If you write one if statement, then you have if and you have else. So you need 2 branches. You need to cover that. If you don't cover it, trust me, you will have a label. You don't know what you're doing. And when you have that label, it's pretty hard to remove. It is very simple thing. Branch coverage has to be covered. Good news, there is a way you can see that how much you are testing and how much you're not testing. And that concept is called code coverage, which I will cover after a few minutes. So are you guys ready? We're going to do 3 steps. Declaration, instantiation, and testing. We're going to cut and paste. What are you going to do?
Cut and paste.
Go to this line where your test, copy this line. Say yes. Copy this, highlight and copy. It is in student test. We are going back to student test. Double click on student test. And just underneath that, paste it here. It's going to cry a little bit. You just need to import that class. So just import and you're good to go. Give me thumbs up if you are able to do this much work. So just double clicking here and then paste it here. It will cry a little bit. You just import that and error disappear. Just do it fast. You just paste it. You shouldn't take a long time here. Remember, you are not typing, you are cut and paste because I want to make sure you make it work. Easy, right? Going forward. Remember, life is so simple. We are the one who make complex by little smile needed, little smile. Some of you are still scary. Makes a little smile. First copy paste instantiation, like declaration is done. Now let's go through instantiation. So let's go back to our forum, scroll down a little bit, and you have this line, copy this line and do Control C here, which is under setup method, highlight and do Control C. Control C. Now go back to your test method, test class, scroll down slowly, and you will see before method, after curly bracket, press enter and do Control V. So after curly bracket, press enter and paste this line. Control V. That is before method, under setup method, you press enter and you paste it here. Give me thumbs up. Everyone has it. Little smile. You may have a little different name. What is the name you have? Yeah. Have a little smile. You will be visible. Otherwise, if you don't have smile, it will be hidden, right? Little smile. Remember, if you don't smile, it will hide itself, right? So second step is done. Now go to our forum and copy both method. This method up to this. Copy up to curly bracket. Don't copy the last curly bracket. Make sure you copy up to this, because this curly bracket is up to this and this curly bracket is up to this. Copy up to this both. Only two test method. So check it out. I'm copying from here to here. Control C. So far so good. Now go back to your test method all the way down. Before the last curly bracket, create some space and do Control V. Control V before the last curly bracket. Before the last curly bracket and do Control V. It will cry a little bit. You just need to import. It will cry a little bit. You just need to import. And if you're able to do that, give me thumbs up. You are doing awesome. You're doing awesome, guys. Awesome. Now, you are understanding mechanism. I'm doing student, creating bank, creating account should not be difficult. Process is exactly the same. Now save it and right click and say test file. Save it and right click and say test file. And it will run and give you some result. You are testing unit test right now. And congratulations, it said build successful. It said test 2 ran. You are getting some pop-up. Click on the pop-up and you will see like something like this. If you expand, it will give you both methods successfully pass. Some of you may not see this green color, but in your console, you will see test pass. You may see that. If you are saying console, but if you're not seeing green color, don't cry. I'm going to help you. But I need a smile a little bit.
Can you scroll back up a little bit? Can you scroll that back up a little bit?
What do I need to scroll?
Go up. I just want to make sure I landed my copy right.
Before curly bracket, that's all.
Go up a little bit.
Before curly bracket, add two method, which we talk about.
Right.
Two method.
That's what I needed to see.
Sorry, what's the question?
Nope, that's what I needed to see. I put something in the wrong.
That's perfect. Now save it, right click and test. When you right click and test, please see and listen to me what I'm saying. Hello, listen. I know what the problem you are having. Don't worry which you don't have problem. Right now just see console. Are you getting a 2 tests running, give me thumbs up. Test and 0 failure. Give me thumbs up if you are seeing something on the console. Hello? Give me thumbs up, just give an answer because we don't want to spend too much time, guys. Basic thing. In a console, are you guys getting this thing? People I can see on online able to see that, means they are able to get it. Awesome. Save it, run it. You should be able to see that in a console. Now, couple of things. Many of you are not seeing the green color. Now I'm going to show you how to fix the green color. You need to follow the flow. Ready? Say yes. Yes. Click on Windows menu. Make sure you follow. Don't ask me, hey, what did you do? Click on Windows menu. Say yes. Now go to IDE tools. IDE tools. So Windows menu, IDE tools, and look for test result. Look for test result. Test results. And then do you see green color? And there might, some people might not see the check sign. In that case, you may want to click on the check and you will see beautiful test there. Say yes. It's okay to say yes. Guys, many people take life and they don't do this. And you learn in 30 minutes. You need to have a smile. You deserve smile. You deserve credit
Yes.
to be able to do that. Trust me, people say, TestNG, I don't know. Do you think how hard it is? It's simple, easy, step-by-step flow. You just need to keep adding, keep adding, keep adding. We will do it multiple times. We're gonna do, but process is very simple. Now, if you accidentally, just make accidentally, make P lowercase, make P lowercase, one case. Just go here and make P lowercase here, P lowercase. In pass P lowercase, save it, right click and test file. And you will see one test fail, one test pass. You will see that. It will be case sensitive. It will cry. It's gonna say, hey, I was expecting P capital. I got lowercase. Look at that, green and red, Christmas color. Do you see that? Right? Why? And if you expand that, it's gonna tell you why. Because it says, I was expecting lowercase, but you get me past P capital here. Do you see that clearly? And that is the reason it failed. So this will give you idea what you are doing wrong or right. Make sense? Now, if you are able to do this, you know how to do test. Most people, when you are the QA, they do a positive and negative test. So here you do lower grade and you're expecting failure. Here you do uppercase expecting pass, but you accidentally did lower P, and that's why you fail. You read the error message. Oh, I see. Then you change here P capital, and then save it, and now run it. And when you run, everything will work. And now green, 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 right? And all tests pass. So here your tests are successful and you are able to see the result on your screen. If I click on the result, I see that. So far, so good. Any questions so far? So far, any question? Was it working? No working?
No.
Okay, so what's the error you are getting?
The first thing, I don't have all the imports at the beginning. I only have one line.
It means you did not follow the step correctly.
Yeah.
The line only it adds if you have selected TestNG. So some reason you have selected test suite.
No, I'm sure I did.
Yeah.
For sure.
If you have selected, it should write it. Yeah, so something wrong. Yeah, no, but expand on what the error is.
Failed. Cannot find symbol.
Yeah, so it means your dependency problem. So go to palm.xml and see you have dependency or not. If you no, it means your computer is not making call to internet and getting the dependencies for you. So that is the problem. Okay. So now, any other questions? Anyone? Any questions on phone so far? I'm hoping that you're able to run this exercise. You're able to see the result. I'm hoping that you saw the green color. Now, I don't want you to do this step along with me. I want you to stop now. Everything I'm going to do from forum, you will do when you are tired, part of your project, because I don't want you to write now. I want you to understand, right? What I'm going to do now, right now, I showed you how to do testing, but I'm now going to show you how to do code coverage. Please understand that step is a little bit longer and complex. I documented in my what you call forum. I don't want you to write now. Please don't do it, because if you're stuck unnecessarily, you will lose the focus. You will not understand the process. Process is kind of we call boilerplate. Boilerplate means if you do it once, you just cut and paste for all project and it will work. So I have done it. Doesn't mean it will work straightforward. So I will be going through trial and error. You will see that I'm recording that. So when you do your own leisure time, you will be able to do quietly. Sounds good? Now don't do it, please. Even say, let me try. Problem will happen. You will not be able to understand. You will not be able to focus. So just give me 5-10 minutes. I'm not going to take 10 minutes, more than 10, because I'm going to cut and paste from forum. So what happened? Now I know test is working, but I don't know my code coverage. So if I scroll down, everything I have written here. So now I want to do code coverage. So I'm using a plugin. So plugin is nothing but palm.xml can be extended by some software. So that software we can add in a palm.xml that's called plugin. Plugin means you add it, it will extend the capability. So think like that in your car, something is not there, you can add something called Bluetooth adapter and your car has now Bluetooth. You add something, now car has audio, video, something. So you extend the capability. So we are adding a capability called Java Coco. That's a plugin available to get me code coverage. So there are a couple of plugins available. One is Java Coco and one is called Kubernetes. And there are many more available. Again, you don't need to know everything. Just like burger, you can buy burger from McDonald's, Burger King and others. You don't need to know all burgers in the world, right? By the way, one burger I would definitely recommend in case if you go to San Francisco, In-N-Out. Man, don't forget about that, okay? That burger you should not forget, In-N-Out. But right now we are using a plugin called Java Coco. So you can see I have explained everything at the following section in palm.xml before the project. So I need to copy that. When I did that, it worked. Okay, so I'm going to see how much things I need to copy, right? So I'm going to copy boom, 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 everything up to this. Now when I copy it, I go to palm.xml and last project, I'm going to create some space and I paste it here. If it works, I will give you 2 minutes to do so. You did, I copy and paste. Did you notice? Let me repeat. Everything I did from screen, I have done all homework, right? Don't worry about in a real life, you just do cut and paste. Why? Because one person does homework, rest of the people cut and paste, right? Because you don't have to use brain. This is a boilerplate. So I did it. Now, in that, a couple of things I want you to understand. In that, I have suggested that I'm going to use Java Coco Maven plugin. Okay, but when I tried that time, version was this and it was working. It is possible version might have changed and I need to troubleshoot. We'll try, but right now I save it. So that step one is done. Now if I scroll down, I say that now perform Maven clean. So now I'm going to right click on a project and I'll say Maven clean. So here is the clean. If it downloads something, it's a good sign. But if it cries, it's a bad sign. So right now, no problem. Now I'm going to say clean build. And let's see, when I do clean build, it's going to run the test also. If it works out, it will give me that it created a report also. So let's see if we are lucky today. So right now running test, and it will say that it created some report. It will say something. So it's creating report. Do you see that? You can see Java, you can clearly say Java did something. So it did something, and say coverage. So it means it did something coverage aspect. That's a good sign. Now I'll go back to my forum and say, and if needed, do this. After few run, you will see the code coverage option in the menu. Okay, so if I right click on a project, that should be a code coverage. And if I click on that, it give me option called show report. If today is my lucky day, I'll see Christmas. Check it out. And today is lucky day. So it says that I have student type, which is not tested at all. 0 coverage. But if I go to student, I have 38% coverage. I'm curious, why 38%? So I'm going to double click on it. So I'm double clicking on that. Ooh, I did not tested custom constructor. Do you guys agree or not? I did test this method and I did test both branch. You can see green color means tested. I have not tested. So if I want to increase my coverage, what I need to do, I need to go back to my test and I need to use, instead of this, maybe I can create like this custom constructor, stu new student, and I can give something like 10, 20, 30, and I call custom constructor. Do you guys agree or not? So what is this one is crying? Not suitable. Student. Oh, it doesn't have. What's that? Oh, student type. There is a student type. My mistake. Name and student type. So let me do name Tom, right? And student type. Student T capital type dot, and I'll say full-time student. I'm not testing anyhow. And then rest of the, and what else he needs? Still crying. So what are the things? Math, science, English. This time it should not cry. Oh, ID is missing. ID is missing. So let's add one. Now happy. Now right click and test. When you test it, it is checking that everything is green, right? So that is good. Check it. Everything is green. And if it is green, then I can run code coverage. Code coverage only runs if test is passing. Everything is good. Now right click and clean build. And if I do clean build, I should have more coverage. Yes or no? Because I'm now doing custom coverage. It should be green. If today is my lucky day, it will pass. And I'm recording here, so you can watch that. If you don't watch recording, it's your loss, because you need to increase your coverage to 80% in a real life. So now right click on a project, go to code coverage, go to show report, and you can see 100%. Wow, that's pretty good. And if I double click on it, this is completely tested. Very good. Now if we go back to the report again, right click, and if I go to code coverage and show report, and this guy is 63%, double click on that. So why it is not tested? Oh, sorry, this is total, my mistake. This one, double click on. So you can see here, I think it's a refresh issue because we tested this thing, right? So it looks like a refresh issue. Let me close everything here, close all. So it's closed. Let me right click and code coverage, and maybe I would, let me try without doing that very clear. So 67%. Yeah, now it's looking pretty good. You guys agree? I have not tested this method, but overall it is tested. Do you agree? So why don't you now you do yourself and see if it works for you? You just need to copy this section. Let's try it. Copy this section which we have. Copy that section, this much section. Say yes. By next time, Alina, external mouse, right? Yes. Yeah. So copy that section. Go back to your netbean palm.xml, and before the last line, paste that section. Before the last line in palm.xml, paste that section. After you paste, save it. After you that, save it. After right click and clean build. Once build successful, when build completes, you get 1 minute or two. If build complete, then right click on a project you will see code coverage and go to show report. And if you see Christmas, give me thumbs up. Not necessary that every one of you will see that, depends on your machine and all, but 90% chances you will see that. You can see on the screen how easy it is, right? Extremely easy, right? So result is anyone is getting green, red, anyone, at least 1 student, 2 student, 3 student, 4 student.
Fail.
I'm getting the error. I pasted in the chat.
Okay, one error is good, but anyone has successfully seen that? You got it? So I have 1 student in the class is able to see. Good. People on phone. Anyone. I'm expecting at least few of should be able to do. So I see a couple of people having no.
There was an error at the end of the
Mhm.
clean and build, but
Mhm.
if I right click on the code coverage, it does show that there's a code coverage and a show report.
Mhm.
And it comes up with all zeros.
Yeah, and that is the reason, as I said before, the reason you might have 0. Let me repeat, they might have result 0 because the version mismatch might have happened, right? That's not a problem. Good news, you understood the process. As I mentioned before, boilerplate process. Boilerplate process is this setup which we are using right now. This setup I'm using, my version is compatible with my Java. Your version, you may need to do a little research. Listen carefully. You may need to do a little research. Is this compatible with your version or not? It is possible you might need to change version and all. Goal of the exercise, don't worry about, but you understood the process. So what is code coverage means? Code coverage means how many lines you're touching. That's pretty much you need to know. So here you can see that if somebody says that your code coverage is 63%, that's not good coverage. Now, if somebody say what is not covered, red line is not covered. Then if you double click on it, then you know which line is not covered. So you as a QA, you continuously add testing. That's pretty much you need to know. No one will expect you to explain in interview, but you should know what is code coverage means. If I don't test this branch, then branch coverage will go down. Do you agree or not? Then it will be red. In that case, branch coverage is not 100%. Now, this problem which you are having is all version issue. Okay, so some of you might need to do research. If you are using JDK 18 or 17, if you are using NetBeans 15 point something, you might have to change this value. This value you have to change appropriately your version, and everything will work. You don't have to change anything later on because rest of the things are boilerplate code. You see that there is nothing special. The only change happen with your JDK version and NetBeans version.
Even if you have a line code, it doesn't show my consumption.
Sorry,
I don't have a line code.
that's fine. That's fine. As I say, I'm keep saying that's the reason I'm telling you. Not everyone will see that because your NetBeans, because your Java, the setup will cause this trouble. That's what I'm keep telling you. Not everyone will have this thing. So you may have a different value, which you have to do a little research, depend on your JDK version. My version is 1.7, your version may be a 17, your NetBeans will be 13.2. So that's the conflict happen. And because of that conflict, you are seeing different result. Make sense? So the problem solution is this line. Now each of you might have different JDK. You might have different NetBeans. So you do need to do a little research. What version we need to set here so we can see the result. But the process is same. Take the Java Cocoa, plug it into palm.xml, click build, and see the result. Make sense? You can also go a little further and you can put a condition that if code coverage is not 70%, then build fail. You can say that. And there are a lot of interesting things in my website. You can go and spend some time. You can do that part and you can spend some time. All those things are there. This is kind of useful for your thing. So example, if you say, hey, if it is your code coverage is not 60%, will fail. So you can add a condition here. You can add a condition here that if your code coverage is not 60%, it should fail. You can add a condition. So your company can enforce that your code coverage must be 90%. Code coverage must be 80%. So if you don't do code coverage 80%, your build will not pass. So this way, QA has to make sure you have at least 80% code coverage. Make sense? So there you can add that. I'm just explaining the concept. You don't have to memorize. I just want you to understand green line, if it is not 80%, build will not pass. Consistently pass, then you are having 80% coverage. Good. So that was part 2. Any question before I show you the menu part?
Is this same for other ID?
No, plugins are different. So good question. So Maven plugins are same. Maven plugin, Java Cocoa plugin is same for Eclipse and same for NetBeans. But you do need to check Eclipse version and Java version, because it may have a different version of Java Cocoa plugin. Make sense or no? If variability happens, like Java change, Eclipse change, you need to see that this plugin is compatible or not. If it is compatible, it will work. If it is not compatible, if you do Google a little bit, you will know which version you need to know. Easy to find. Trust me, there are millions of people are using this plugin. So if you search a little bit, within a half an hour, you will find the solution, which version you need to use. Good. So that was my part number 3, which I want to cover, which I covered so far. And the last thing I want to cover is the project. We still have 10 plus minutes. This is important for your project. So I'm going to cover that, and I already have in your Google class. So bear with me right now. I want to explain what I'm trying to cover. So if I go to Google class, you might not have seen that because I have not posted yet. So let me go to Google class. It will come in few minutes. I think at 9:30 I'm posting. So you should be receiving shortly. But let me explain. This is like a little bit hint for your project. The last topic for the day, I want to give you a hint. This is very useful, which will give you kickstart. You can easily understand how you can move to the next step. And I believe having such kind of goodies will be a plus point. So now class work. Now we covered this one, right? This is where we were. So yeah, this one. So I need to explain what I'm posted. So you should have posted already. You can see, I think it's posted. So your main, okay. Okay. Bank is there. For some reason I didn't put the bank here. Okay, so I did not put a bank some reason, and I have a get account list A1. Why did I not put bank? So bank is here. I did not put the bank. Okay, I should have a class here. Give me 1 second. I hope I have bank. I will put entire code for you. Give me a second. My bank. I need my bank. Which package I'm using here? Bank driver, bank. Do you guys see anywhere bank? No. It should be. Hospital. I don't think it's hospital. This is the hospital. Give me 2 more minutes. Look, I think maybe my loops. No. TestNG. Give me 2 more minutes, or most likely. If you're okay, I can create it quickly. I'll quickly create it. Give an example, so you can watch it. And I'm recording the session, so you can look watch later. So I'll say my bank. That's a project. Oops! Oh, it's there. It's there. So where it is? There it is. Open project. Let me do open projects. There somewhere. It will save some time. Basically, that's what I'm trying to do. Close other project. Close one project. Open project. Where is projects are stored? Project stores are here. Okay. It should be somewhere here. File, open project. Paste it here. Yes, yes, yes. So it should be somewhere here. Bank. I need a bank. Project. Now, do you see my bank? My. Yeah, my bank. Today is a lucky day. Today is a lucky day. Everything is, I'm getting whatever I want. I should have added my lotto. So here you go, my bank. Okay. So you can see here, I have bank. Please pay attention. So I have bank. Now, situation is like this. Your bank is the object. Please pay attention. Bank is the object, and bank has employees. Do you guys agree? So whenever I has, you use array list, and then you know how I did. These are my attributes. This is my constructor, setter and getter, toString. Right? I'm going to take this class and put it in a Google class. So you will have everything available through Google Class. You should not cry, okay? I'm giving you everything. So bear with me here. This is the bank class. So here I added the bank class. So that class is there. And this, remember, you need to remove that. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that it's not working, okay? So this is the bank class. It's pretty easy. So bank has employee. So if I go to employee, there is an employee class. Employee has ID, name, email. It's pretty tiny class. It should not be that challenge, right? Pretty simple, easy employee class. So it's a good idea. Before you do bank, you need an employee. Yes or no? So I'm going to put employee before we do bank. So let me here employee. Because if you don't have employee, it's going to cry and you will have a problem. So that's why let's create that way. So this is employee. So that part is taken care. Now I have employee type also. So you can see here, contractor employees here also. So I have parent-child relationship. So what happened is employee, there are employee the parent. So we have this type of relationship. Bank, please pay attention. Bank has employee. Bank has employee, but employee has either, there are two types of employee. One is full-time employee, right? And one is a part-time employee. Make sense or no? That gives you enough help for your project, right? So now let me copy that also. So contract employee. So employee first, then I have contract employee. this way, and then I'll add another employee, which is a full-time employee. It won't take more time, trust me, we are almost done. Just want to give you all goodies so you can do good project. Trust me, project is fun and having good example is always a good thing. So that's why I'm giving you. This is full-time employee. Right? So full-time employees, you can see right now, full-time employee is an employee and we just have a salary difference, and part-time employee has hour difference. So hourly rate is a contractor has hourly rate and full-time has a full salary. Now the master class, which we are talking about, which is this one. And this main method, I thought already there. So I don't have to copy the main method. So bank is there and main method is already there. So this main method we are talking about. So what happened? Check it out. This is very interesting, okay? I think the question only one person asked, right? That how to do menu. So anytime you want to do menu, you create a method where you show 1 for taco, 2 for McDonald's, 3 for Subway, and you use do while loop. Remember we did that? Do while loop. Same concept here, say 1 for add, 2 for withdraw, 3 for transfer. So if you go to ATM machine, they have option 1 for withdraw, 2 for deposit, 3 for transfer, right? So we can create that type of ATM here. But in order for us to take user input, we need a scanner. So we define scanner global. Whenever you define global, we always put all the top. So here employees is top, which is outside. And then I'm creating a bank. Bank is the master class, but bank has a constructor. That constructor expect employees. So you can see I'm adding employees, but there is employees will be right now employee 0. So when I start the bank will be first, but employee will be 0. So this will be 0. Then I will have menu where I say 1 means add employee, 2 means view employee, 3 means delete employee. I can do that. Make sense or no? So now there is a menu. So let's see what is the menu means. So if I go to menu is here. So I have forgot to add menu. So I'll add a menu in area of Google Class, right? So there's a menu. So in that menu, I'm going to say here, if I do 1, then I'm add employee. If I do 2, I'm going to search employee. If I do 3, I'm going to save employee. And if I do 4, I'm going to quit. Make sense? So that is the menu. So whenever I run my program, first thing what will happen, it will show the menu. And when I select anything, that will go to choice. So if I enter choice 1, it will come here. And that will say you want add employee. So now I will ask user enter employee ID. I ask enter his name. I ask enter his email. So those are called inputs. I'm using in a variable. Once he's provided me all the details, then I create if this employee is full-time, then I'm creating child class full-time. If employee is part-time or contractor, I'm creating employee contractor. So this way I create employee. Once I create employee, I'm going to add this employee into array list. So we can see here, I'm adding that employee into array list, and that array list will be added into bank. So the first employee is added in a bank. If I keep doing this thing, I can add more employees. Make sense? And the second, I'm saying search employee. So I'm asking user, what is the ID you are looking for? So because here I added, so whatever I added, this employees are exist. So I'll say, hey, search it. So I say, what is the ID you're looking for? So like example, say I'm looking for 2. Then it will say, are you 2? 2? No. If yes, then it will display that employee detail. Right? And if I go to 3, then you can say, in that case, save that employee to the file. So you can save this employee to the file. Again, file writer and all we talk about, but here we can save this information to the file. And all those details are there, which you can spend some time. So let me run it so you can see what I'm talking about. So now I'm going to run it. So when I run it, first thing I'll see the menu, relax and enjoy. Good news, the code is there. Spend some time. The first menu showed up. So you can see here, menu showed up. for add employee. So if I do 1, it's going to ask me questions. So if I say 1, so it's asking question. What you want? So enter ID. So I'll say 1, employee ID 1. Of course, name is Tom, and the password is tom@itexps.com. And say what type of employee type. So now, how do we define employee type? Let me just check here. Employee type is either you write full time, then it's a full time. So I'm going to do full time for timing. So I'm going to type full time. Full time. So it automatically will create a full time employee. And now it is asking salary. Remember, full time has a salary. So I'll say $5,000. Now it's going to complete that thing. Now you can see it added employee. You can see that the bank, this is the bank, and employee added. Now I want to add another employee. So I said number 2. Sorry, my mistake. I want to add again. So number 1. So now he's asking, what is employee ID? I said 2. What's the employee name? This time I'm going to say the most popular student in the world, Kevin. Right? No one is Kevin. It's my friend, artificial. Right? So Kevin, let's say Kevin worked for abc.com and employee type. So he is not a full-time. So if I write anything, if I don't write full-time, it by default becomes contractor. So I'm going to write contractor. I can write anything, it will become contractor. So ask hourly rate, right? So if it is a contractor, it's going to ask hourly rate. So I'll say he's working $40 per hour. So now that employee is added. So if you see here, first is the full-time employee and the second is the contractor employee. Now I'm done with my employee. Now I say I want to search the employee. So I say number 2. And if I press enter, so you say, what is which employee? So let's say I want to search number 2, which is the contractor. So if I place 2, then it should print me. So you can see here, it printed contractor. Let's say I want to search again. So if I say I do 2, and this time I say I want to search first employee, then it should be full-time employee. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. Now, let's say I want to save this thing. So I say number 3. So if I say number 3, it will save all my employees to 5. So if I do 3, it's going to say it save the employee, but which file it saves? So let's see the file details. I think I have hard coded here, bank.txt. So if I go to bank.txt under data, you need to say Tada if you see the data. Okay. If you don't say Tada, I'm not going to give you code. Okay. I have not submitted yet. So I'm not going to give you, oh, file is created and you can see 938. It's still available. And if I double click here, both employees are there. Awesome job. Bank is IT expert, bank name is IT expert, and there are 2 students. The informations are there. I missed the pipe here, which you can add there. Make sense or no? But everything is there. I was expecting tada. Ta-da. And now, the last thing is I can do is I can say, thank you. Thank you. Last thing I can do is I can do 4. 4 means quit. So now if I do 4, it's going to quit it. Make sense? So you can see that most of the logic I did, if I have done this thing for add employee, you can do the same thing for, but in your case, your account also. You can account also, play around, add account, view account, delete account. I'm giving you all those goodies. And now you are working with your group, you are developing your own career. You feel that career is important. You have learned so much thing and you cannot do project, then God's sake, you're not going to learn much, right? Ideally, such kind of goodies, you can complete project tomorrow. Trust me, because you have instead of I have given bank already. I give you employee, right? If you want to write another thing, divisions, you can do the exact copy of that and then update the constructor. Do the little bit thing here. Here I gave you already full-time employee, part-time, full-time. You can do that. You can change around, right? I also did a lot of activities, so you can do those activities. In short, now let me post out the code. So your code here. This is the main method, right? So main method under driver. Let me give you whole driver class because otherwise you will have another questions, right? So let me give you whole bank class. So that way you don't have to look around. Huh? What did he do that, right? Completely bank class. So this is the, oops. Okay, here I gave you, yeah. So this is the my bank. I gave you my bank, right? So here driver class basically. So driver class, You can see that menus are here, menus are created here. Your choice, as you give a choice, you add that, different choices are there. We talk about the choice. I walk through that, what's the recording. I'm going to put recording most likely tomorrow, so you can have access to that. And this is the main method. But you can work on that. And now I'm saving, so you should have access to that. Question, concerns down before we adjourn. All 4 goals have accomplished. Now, some of you are having a problem about TestNG if it's not working. Ideally, I'll show you next week if it is not working. So don't panic. I'll show you that. But I wanted to show you enough so you can make significant progress on project. When we come next week, you will be presenting your project. Project details are also in the forum. So if you, in case if you do not know what is the project detail I forgot about, can you show us? Everything is available in there. There is a one sample project is there. I just want you to give you hint. Let me repeat again. There is a sample project is there also. So if you go to Java object programming, in Java object programming, if you go there, you're going there last, as you go further, there are a lot of things are available here, goodies and all, spend time and all. This is a really good site, spend some time. But the last link is here. So, yeah, so you can see Java project details, right? So if you click on that, in that you will get this information where the project, come on. Yeah. So project detail is there. Yep. So that project detail is there. And in that project, my bank is there. Do you guys agree? And if you double click on that, you can get source code. Some of the code, zip file is also there. So you can happy to download that and play around. So if you go to my bank, some goodies are there, but who cares? Who see this thing? All those things are there. So if you double click on that, my bank, go to SRC, there are a lot of classes are already there. So spend some time and make use of it. So you can see here my bank and there's whatever codes, all are there. Make sense or not? So you can make use of it and instantly you can start working on a project too. The link is there in the forum, which is the last link. So sometimes people don't notice that, but it is there also. Okay. Do